It's time for the 1-1 teams to continue their battle. We are live from London for the FACEIT Major Challenger stage, and it's going to be none other than OpTic Gaming, who now set their sights on TyLoo. The Chinese side already picked up a win versus Gambit, who we just saw make Hellraisers sweat, and in continuing this adventure with me, we have brought back Mr. Chad Sponge Birchill, looking in burgundy. Chad Sponge Burgundy Birchill.
I think it's my best colour.
I do think so too. It really makes your eyes pop.
You feel it's the eyes.
They go from brown to like a chestnut.
Oh, that's quite a nice colour.
Yeah, and Jacob Pimp Vinegar, of course, on the end there to help us understand the Danes. I mean, a Danish expert, I would hope. In fact, you probably played in a team with... Actually, no, we've got some young blood. Let me think. Gade, probably not. Yugi. Oh, this is testing my history.
Config's still
Snappy.
relatively new, all things considered. So Cajun and Snappy potentially, but Snappy was 1.6er and he was a saucer.
Actually, only Cajun.
Just one. Just one.
Wow.
We'll take it.
All right, well,
It'll do.
It's better than none.
Normally he sits there and goes, well, actually, I was on a team with him, Cillian, and then I was on a team with... The list is endless. It really is. But we do have our Danish expert joining us, and I'm not sure where... I just had someone talking in my ear while I was talking.
Okay.
TyLoo is where we're going to be starting this one off. So why don't we go ahead and focus on the Chinese side. Of course, I say Chinese side with a bit of a twist. They actually are communicating in 3 languages, and we've got to do our best here, gentlemen, to not only talk about their communication issues. However, it does seem to be quite a detrimental topic at the
We
moment.
can steer clear of that if everybody at home wants to give that one a miss.
No, let's make sure we fill them in first of all.
Okay, first and foremost, you have 2 Indonesian players in Benta and Excurate who are from... I already said they're from Indonesia. And then 3 players, DD, Mo, and somebody who are from China. And then Benta is the in-game leader. He's doing it in a mixture of Indonesian, Chinese, and English. So it is a bit of a mess, but they have managed to pick up a victory. You did allude to that. It was an overtime game against Gambit on Inferno, and then they went on to play Train against NIP that was 16-12. Pistols haven't been their strong suit in this tournament, but Excurate definitely has been an impact player. He has had 46 kills in, over the 2 maps, and 39 of which have been with the AWP. So, if you want him to put numbers on the board, get the big green gun in his hands.
That is quite an absurd statistic, actually, just the percentage of his kills, never mind how many he's got. The sheer percentage of them that were with the AWP. All of these rosters are brought to you by the DreamTeam.gg. Jacob, this is an intriguing topic because a lot of the players, when they're interviewed, win or lose, versus TyLoo, they always seem to give them credit for playing against him is difficult. They seem to make Counter-Strike difficult for their opponent.
I think they're making Counter-Strike difficult not only for the opponents but also for themselves.
Right.
The communication issue, we wanted to stay clear of it, but I think it's such a vital part of why TyLoo is not performing better. Because when you look at the players and when you look at the numbers that the players are posting, I think there's no doubt that this is a team that has potential to be a top 10 team in the world had there not been any communication issues. But the fact is there is communication issues, and unless they can somehow find a way to make that mixture of 3 different languages work, I'm not seeing TyLoo progress into a state where they can be a consistent top 10 team.
And while progression may be difficult, where they find themselves right now is actually still pretty strong. You watch out for them. They've already, of course, made NIP sweat, picked up the win versus Gambit, and they go up against OpTic Gaming. Now, this is a roster that is so very interesting because when we start listing off the names, you'd expect it to be followed by praise and a list of results. However, neither come naturally to our analysts when we talk about the OpTic boys.
Has been lackluster for these guys in the tournament, sure, starting off against Liquid and getting 16 forward on Mirage. Liquid are one of the stronger teams in this tournament going through 3-0. But then versus a VP on Mirage as well, it was a 16-13 that they struggled to close out. Now that is a concern, that is a problem when you do have the likes of Yugi and Config on your team, 2 huge fraggers from the Danish scene. Something isn't clicking just yet with these guys.
There's definitely a problem with the inner workings of how to make the team click. You mentioned it yourself, you have Config, you have Yuki, 2 of the biggest talents within Denmark, and then you have the experienced guys around them. Cajun B is a guy who's been around forever, used to play in Astralis, used to play in Dignitas back in the days, have been playing with North as well, so it's a guy who's tried it all and been in a lot of different roles. For some reason, they haven't found the mixture of roles or mixture of how to make it work yet. Guy on the outside, Gate right here, he's new to the scene as well. We haven't seen too much for him, and by now he's a support player, but he's not a support player like in the ranks of a Rain, for example, for FaCe, who sort of like made that role his own and then became a star. He's just a decent player who's doing his job. It's the other 3 guys on the team, Cajun, Yugi, and Config, we need to see more from.
And I have a fear that perhaps the conversation could maybe move to motivational issues when you they've been kicked in the teeth repeatedly coming up to this major. I'm looking at the most recent results, just that alone, a 0-2 versus Heroic, unable to get a map versus a team that you probably or likely would consider yourself better than from your region. They've been kicked by Liquid, that 16-4 of course coming in, and the fact that VP, who've already announced Bialy plans to depart the team after this major, having to struggling for nearly full 30.
I'm not going to deny that there could be some motivational issue with these players, but when you look at their past careers and how it all ended, you know, them getting kicked from a lot of teams and them not finding themselves good enough to play for Astralis or play for North these days, it's like you don't get more motivation. If that doesn't motivate you to be ruled out from a team and been told you're not good enough to be anymore, or you're unwanted, then there's nothing that can motivate a Counter-Strike player. So in that regard, I don't hope it's a motivational issue, because if it is, then there's nothing to do about that.
I'm with you.
So I think it's something else. I think it's the composure of this team. I think it's the way Snappy wants to call. I think it's relatively new to a few of these guys. Yuki played with him in Heroic, and that worked fine for him, but now he has to have config on the team as well. He has Cajun, who's a very strong-minded guy who wants to run the team by his thoughts as well. So there's a lot of inner workings with this team I'm not seeing going too well.
Just to quickly build on that, with Snappy yesterday in the interview after they had their victory versus VP, they alluded to the fact they were playing looser, and Yugi said he was able to go for peaks that he may have not been able to do in the previous day when they were up against Liquid. But if you look at that Liquid game on Mirage, they won the CT pistol and they won a 1vx situation. So if they won the CT pistol, which then they converted, that's 2 rounds. Another round was a 1vx situation, which is sometimes a coin toss. So there's 3 out of their 4 rounds. It really means they didn't have an impact in that game at all. Then you just, because they've played both of their matches on the same map, we can look forward to the VP game, and their T side they really struggled to close.
No, absolutely. We'll see if they can improve on it today, and one of the factors that may lead them that direction, in fact for both sides in this head-to-head, some of their stars, but for different reasons. Jacob, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I mean, we have Bentet on one side who has his hands full of doing more than one job, basically. He's a translator, he's a fragger, and he's also the in-game leader. So kudos to him for doing so well, having that role. I think he's a super underrated player on his own. I think he would be working fine on a lot of other English-speaking teams, maybe in the future. Whereas Snappy, he's been praised a lot in Denmark for being this next big in-game leader, for taking team, making them better than they maybe were. Heroic was a great example. They were not the best player material to work with, but he made them look decent from time to time. The problem with Snappy is he haven't really made this OpTic lineup look good at any point yet, so I think he has a lot to prove here, and especially at this tournament. If you're not able to beat TyLoo in current state, where they have all these communication issues, have all these problems surrounding them, then I think OpTic is about to no longer be this 5-man lineup.
I also have a little bit of a worry. OpTic have only played Mirage.
Yeah.
Now, TyLoo are pretty good at that map.
There's only 3 maps in contention for this best of 3 in my mind. That's Mirage, that's Inferno, and that's Train. And that is left with the decision for TyLoo, as they are going to be the ones to decide, being that A-banning team. Right now, Cash is the standard ban for the OpTic side. I think they will probably get rid of Dust 2 as well. They've played it 3 times and lost it all 3. There it's going to go. And then this is where they have the choice. Do they want to ban out Mirage, the strongest map that you were alluding to, for TyLoo? Do they want to let it go down to the likes of Inferno and Train? OpTic would be happiest with Train, however the decision will be left to TyLoo, and I think out of the 2 maps left they will go with Inferno. And that's where we did have that overtime game against Gambit. Xcurate going huge with the AWP on a couple of big rounds. I think Bentet dropped 30 plus, and that was a big match. Now, I think when you look at the TyLoo map pool, Mirage is obviously #1. That's where they can actually do work in the mid-round, because everybody on that team seems to understand the theory, or they just play off each other very well. I'm not quite sure what happens behind the closed doors.
So is this going to be TyLoo's #2 Inferno?
Yeah, exactly. Inferno is their 2nd best map, and that's because once you get banana control, once you get mid control, it just at that point becomes trading onto the bomb sides. It's not so huge that obviously you can have a lot of set pieces, but this is where their pack roll can really work. Now, as we saw this in the Gambit game, they moved away from the default style, spreading and picking, and they just were going 5-man banana into executes, a quick A execute, more contact plays, and that's where the communication and the issues of this different language barrier gets completely wiped out, and it's just pop those heads, get in the bomb site, and play those after plans.
Absolutely, Inferno then. So this is going to be a test for OpTic, the first time we've seen them on it here at the Challenger stage of the FACEIT Major. What is your prediction, Jacob? What are you saying? Are you going to be allowed back into Denmark if you go against OpTic?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. I think it's a super close game. I don't think I have a clear favorite in this one. Judging by the map, Inferno as well, it is, as you said, you know, it depends on how TyLoo approach this match. Because I do feel if they want to go for the default style, I think OpTic are good enough individual to handle that. So it depends on that. I'm going to go with TyLoo. I think OpTic have I don't know, they disappointed me enough for now.
Your heart's been broken too many times.
It's been broken. So TyLoo is probably going to take this, but it's Inferno. It's going to be 15-15, and then it's a coin toss.
Yeah, all right. Well, what about you saying?
I think it's probably going to be TyLoo as well, but it's going to be an extremely messy game of Counter-Strike. Neither team have shown in their matches that they're proficient at pistol rounds, both only winning 1 out of the 4, so that's not a metric we can really look at. I think that both have had their struggles, both have had brawls, and both have very skilled individuals that can win clutch situations and turn rounds on its head. So I'm going to lean towards TyLoo just because I think they've been playing better as a team. They don't look so disjointed, but it's going to be one of those bangers.
Yeah, I think I'm going to subscribe to the banger as well and go for TyLoo. I think this is an intriguing matchup and a lot of excitement surrounding exactly what OpTic will show up. A loud one, it seems, as they do their chant, and that means one thing. It's game time. TyLoo versus OpTic Gaming about to go down here in London, and who better than some Londoners? We do have Dan and James ready to bring you the auction action.
Well, maybe there'll be an auction. James likes auctions.
I'm never doing an auction again. I did one auction. I did an online auction because I couldn't go, but they have like little camera and stuff. And I did an auction, and I bought 2 clocks and a crappy watch which has a broken crown from back in the day. And I spent just way too much money. And one of the clocks is like this big. I was after a carriage clock, which is let me just do that. About this big, but I've got this clock which like you could push over like a mantelpiece and just like squash a dog or something. It's really bad. Anyway, let us know who you think is going to win this match on the Upcomer app, upcomer.com. You can find it in your app stores, or you can browse the website if you want to. The website is, in fact, on the internet. So now we can see that 60% of people are looking for at TyLoo and 40% OpTic. Dan, what's going on?
Well, I'm glad that you specified that the website's on the internet, because I have a website that's not on the internet right now. It just, just went down. I don't know what to do, so...
Just went down? You're not very good at this website thing, are you?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to pay someone to fix my WordPress stuff at this point.
I'm actually amazed at how bad your website situation is, because I was like, dude, just get a WordPress site, get a skin, and it's pretty much good to go, and it's still down.
Yeah, because I had to like try to find out how to build it around, and I took something that was complicated, and I got way too far out of my depth. So I'm just gonna pay someone.
How do I HTML,
WordPress,
bro?
If you're like super awesome with WordPress websites, you can just spam me on Twitter and maybe I'll pay you some money and you can fix my stuff for me. But anyway, we have OpTic Gaming on the CT side of Inferno here against TyLoo, and this is, I think, as they alluded to on the desk, I think a game that should be just up in the air. TyLoo's style, it's just chaotic, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for OpTic Gaming, who will be starting off with that CZ on Snappy, which I really like, and an HE. That's cool.
Yes, a CZ or a 5-7, but I'd say mainly a CZ, is really good in a CT pistol round if you're playing a position where a rush is likely. Let's say you're playing the balcony on Inferno, let's say you're playing the drop on Cobblestone when it was in the map pool, still available on FACEIT, of course, or another place. A 5-7 and or a smoked or company, it can be super powerful. We've got Yugi on the site with a USB and Gade in a normal spot. That's a very nice shot from here, man. He will allow his teammates to run distraction. Gade, what are you doing? That's 4 kills from him. Monstrous. There's the ace as well. That was nasty from start to finish. That was absolutely disgusting. That was gross.
Guy's an assassin. My God. That is how you set the tone. If you want to start a game off right, Gade just showed you how that's done. Bosh! In mid-air, no problem whatsoever.
That's so nice, man.
Clean. Oh my God, this is going to be one of the best fast USP aces in a professional game I've seen. That was a
It was
delight
gravy.
to
That
watch.
was a gravy train straight down the throat.
They didn't even know what happened. Look at them. They're like, what just question marks everywhere.
Man, that's not even in the throat. That's straight in the bloodstream. That is straight in the bloodstream.
Wait, sorry, what's in the bloodstream?
The gravy.
Oh.
That was clean.
I don't know what any of that means, but okay. I don't think anyone knows what that means except Gade. He was in the zone. He was the zone.
That was nasty,
the zone of pain.
dude. That was nasty. That was like an Eminem diss track. It was bars.
Oh, I want to see it again. I think we should just find a moment when there's like a crappy highlight and just play that one instead later on in the match.
If that ace was a perfume, it would be like if it was a smell, it would be the finest perfume. It'd be the finest.
What would be the name, James?
It's expensive. And Eau de Gade. I don't know. Let us know if Gade's ace was a perfume, what would it be called? Send us a tweet. Give us your finest inspired phrases Very nice stuff indeed from Gade in the pit. We didn't even get to see a CZ bullet be fired. I didn't even know if any were. Everybody was focusing, and that's the thing, like everyone was focusing on the site. I feel like a European team, someone's going to be checking the pit position there just to see what's going on. So it seems that TyLoo tunnel visioned on the site itself. Little did they know, a man like Gade was ready with the ting.
Man, that's a treat. Like, what a treat that.
Talk to me, Dan.
Round was. Man, that is. So
or woman.
I'm gonna rewatch that later for sure. All right. After that present that Gade just gave his team and all of us, we've got a lovely full buy here from OpTic. And maybe first on this banana position, but Config's there with the MP9 looking to make the money. Snappy with the supports, and he can funnel those bullets straight down that choke point. Config will die, but don't think he cares. Don't think he cares. The round will be won surely here by the OpTic Gaming side. DD is trying to do what he can. He's got 11 bullets to go, and Snappy will take him out. So, quick one. That's what we like to see. Hopefully this next one will be even quicker because it's just Glocks now here for TyLoo.
Glocks. Man, that's like when you flop a full house and you're like, yeah, come on, plebs. Come on. Chase your 2 pair. Alrighty. Indeed, it is Glocks for TyLoo. Not the start they wanted. But a bigger problem is, again, in these 2 rounds, TyLoo have a combined 1 kill. And the implications of that are more money for the CTs in the buy versus buy round than they may otherwise have. And that can really help OpTic at the beginning to have a stable and comfortable CT half of Inferno. So this is an issue. So again, if you think like, oh god, they've got Glocks, why don't they just run and die? If they kill 1 player, that's like $6,000 taken away. So it is important for them to try and get every inch of sweat out of these Glocks as possible. Do you measure sweat by inches? Maybe drops is more relevant. Every drop of sweat.
Well, drop is not typically a measurement. Whereas at least,
you don't need to measure. That's the thing, you don't need to measure.
Inches is a measurement.
Yeah, but you don't need to. You don't,
I'll take the inches, I guess.
But we're not trying to measure the sweat. We're just trying to get the sweat out.
Okay, I thought you.
We're trying to put them to work. Is the we're not trying to measure sweat, Dan.
Oh, I thought we were being scientific.
You're such a nerd.
What is that?
Even a chicken is laughing at you.
It's running into a wall. What does it know? Doesn't know anything. Stupid chicken. Well, they'll be running into the crossfire. He will be taken down eventually by DD. And the round is almost over. Somebody. Oh, that floor is disgusting. He's walking through all kinds of crap right
Where's
now.
he off to? Trying to catch a rotator, perhaps. So DD's P250 pace for itself costs $300, and you get $300 for it. But more importantly, it does about $6,000 worth of damage. So that is a valuable kill. It took a long time, but it was a valuable kill. GoTV picks.
Gade.
You're going with Gade?
I don't know, mate. It just seems like the only answer.
For those of you on GoTV, I am going to
Gade TV.
propose Yugi. No, I mean, I picked 2 AWPers in the previous one, so maybe I'm going to think about this. I'd say when it's anti-eco round, though, DD, he is the king of anti-eco rounds. He likes to rack them up, so DD on a GoTV for the anti-eco round if you want to see some anti-eco brag. So we've got a 2-man push in the apartment from Yugi and Gade. Oh! Fnatic-esque from the side. Vintage plays and Yugi will fall back. So if you were in tune, got a nice treat there. What is the response from TyLoo? Maybe that will make them start even slower in rounds to come, with such liberties being taken by OpTic Gaming.
Gotta love the flick shot. Now, burst on top mid and OpTic Gaming. They are actually saving a lot of money at this point. TyLoo needs to, at the very least, get a lot of damage done. Bomb plant would be lovely as well. And so they've taken top mid away momentarily, and they're going back towards banana, but They'll have less than a minute to do so. And OpTic have 4 players towards A. So OpTic has sort of committed into getting information top mid, which I think they've just done. So now OpTic know what TyLoo are doing. From a movement perspective, Config confirms it, drops the flash to delay them, and the rotation will come in. TyLoo must be extremely quick here to make this work, and they must kill Config immediately. It's a good start, though, from Config, and that might kill the push. We'll see if they can somehow salvage this. But Snappy gets in there as well through the smoke with the spray. Config looks to do what he can, but it is a horrible situation for TyLoo.
He doesn't quite stop the bomb from going down, but he will stop everything else. Bonus money with for the UMP kills as well. And here comes the defuse. AK being stolen. That is so cheeky. He's like, yeah, I'll take that. Where's it going? Okay, he's found him another one. How kind. Team player.
Yeah. I was thinking that is the dilemma, isn't it? Do I go for the defuse or do I make sure no one can steal this damn AK?
Another look at UVs. That is quite sick. That's beautiful. It's so satisfying as the sniper rifle players to do that as well. So until I can think of somebody else to pick, why not have Yugi? Snappy's picked up a sniper rifle as well. From what we've seen so far, from the confidence in these few rounds from OpTic Gaming, I think that we do have to pick one of them at least for this first half. Okay, I'm gonna go with Yugi. I mean, it's all AWP players, but you can pick someone else now.
Well, I already chose Gabe, so.
Oh, okay, yeah, you chose Gabe. Fine.
Instant choice. I think he earned it with that pistol round, if I'm honest.
I continue to be interested in what we'll see from Cajun B. Of course, he was. Oh, never mind. We'll talk about it later because the numbers game is being played by TyLoo. Snappy sees nothing, and now he's gone. The numbers game has to come in and overwhelm Config, but Cajun B is almost in CT. He can throw a flash towards the pool area, but they're past it already. More about that later. We've got the spray coming out for Config, clearing out a bit of free fire. The bomb is at his feet as well, and he's still alive. 4 kills for Config. Somebody has an AWP, but there isn't much hope for him. 1 versus 3, 1 minute on the clock. He's waiting for the smoke to go, but once it goes, it will be hard for him to get that 1 versus 1. Does he engage somebody towards the coffin, towards Banana first? It's interesting. There are a few options into how OpTic play this. They have one player watching construction, and one next to him watching the coffins, and that would force somebody to the point of no return for 1 engagement, almost guaranteed to have a 2 versus 1 for OpTic Gaming. As you can see, he's trying to limit his exposure, trying to find 1 player so as to avoid getting trade fragged, and Yugi is ready to shoot him in the face. That's a clean 5-0 for OpTic.
Config just killed 4 players. He isolated like 4-1. That's so awesome. There it is, 1-2, third 1v1, trying to go for that late trade, and it is just not happening. That is just incredible. If you think about it this way, the fact that Config almost got the ace there, kills 4 players, he's anchoring that B-bomb site, and that's a play of confidence. And to see, Gate obviously looks very confident early on towards the A side of the map with the AWPers, also Yugi doing very well. And it's not only that, but from a team perspective, the way that the round was built from OpTic previously was perfectly played. They had a cool setup around A, got information, they responded really fast, they confirmed things with information plays. It was just all just right now. OpTic are looking fantastic. TyLoo need to do something pretty incredible to stop this, and they can't even get out of T-pit for the first 20-30 seconds here.
Oh dear, doesn't manage to get away with that one. Not sure if he wanted to jump in that situation, but either way he's gone. Config trying to get a wallbang, flash into the pool as he retreats. And TyLoo will fall back. They force the CTs away from Banana, and let's see what else they choose to do. A smoke towards the CT position perhaps. Yugi holding an angle for the time being, but he will be forced away. Cajun B and Gay, I wonder, they're getting curious. They're starting to wonder what is going on. I feel like OpTic are being more aggressive against a team who don't quite have that European culture where they may not be able to take so many liberties. Gay standing on his feet, he gets 2 out of that one. And he makes life easier for Cajun B. Back on Old Familiar, but not for long. He gets taken out, and now the bomb will make its way through apartments. There is a smoke down on Arch, and Excurate has another one. There it goes. So there is time to plant here. Yugi and Config coming in from the same direction. Will they try to boost, perhaps? Yes, they will. Does Config spot anything? He might come up on Captain Mo's radar here. I'm not sure how that would work over the top of the smoke, but no one is showing just yet.
Deadly crossfire between Graveyard and the deep position on the sides. with the AWP, it's going to be so difficult because the assumption that someone hits is definitely there, and it's so hard. They go for it anyway, and the money should be pretty good. I haven't been keeping note of it. Yeah, it's fantastic. 5K, 11K, 6. So, yeah, OpTic looking good on the money, but that's a much bigger round from TyLoo. Really good stuff. I like how they create the delay, decide to force their way in banana control and fight for it, and that gives them a pick. That's a really good way to do it. Sometimes teams are too afraid, and instead of wanting to fight for something, they'll just prefer to delay, and then there's no opportunity for a pick later on into the round. I like that TyLoo are ready to fight there, and Yuki going in the apartments with the AWP it's always a scary prospect. TyLoo once again with a similar start to the previous round, just very passive around T, with most players around T pit. Doesn't look like they want to challenge that initial banana smoke from the CTs though. It is the first objective, to see if they can take that safely.
That smoke will bounce off the wall right in front of Cajun and obscure his vision. There we go. Denial of information from TyLoo with a minute on the clock, but conflict's at the bottom of banana, so there's a reasonable level of information here for OpTic Gaming. Now, again, that's a very confident position from Yugi, and config again, liberties being taken, or are they? Excurate ready for it, and there's still time to rotate back, but Snappy's going forward, having a look down banana. So we can call for the rotation if needed. Gade forced away. There's isolation now, but Gade's still alive. TyLoo have to deal with this. Somebody flying from out of nowhere. And out of the crossfire here for the C team. They look one way, TyLoo. They get taken down from the other. And now Excurate is the last one to fall onto the floor face first. And that is a solid round from OpTic Gaming.
Yeah, really nice late hold there from them. And again, you can see that they have the reads and they're looking to make those plays. Of course, OpTic do get caught. I forget who was it. Excurate or Ping? The back.
Yes.
Yeah. So Excurate does catch the flank attempt, but just the fact that there is a flank attempt at that timing is quite cool from OpTic. Just shows that they've got a really good read of what TyLoo were up to, and that seems to be the theme so far. And if that continues, we could see a very dominant half at this point.
Yes, it seems OpTic Gaming have expectations as to where they are likely to be able to get away with aggression that they may not be able to versus a different team. 4 players now in the A bomb site for OpTic, all around it. Somebody is taken out towards the arch position, but config is ready for him. Excurate, that's the bomb now on short. No trade frags here for TyLoo, and Captain Mo is alone with the Desert Eagle, so this is not the nicest of rounds for TyLoo, nor is it the nicest of scores.
Yeah, OpTic looking really good right now. Like, Gade is 12 for 1, so he's loving life, being sort of the pit anchor. And often, you want a really confident rifler, a very consistent rifler, who's a smart player as well, playing those anchoring positions, and that pit position is being pretty iconic on Inferno. And teams will often put some of their best rifles on there. Forrest typically used to always be the pit player because he was so reliable with a rifle. His multi-kills back in the days. And double AWP is definitely something that's scary here for TyLoo, and they're going to go and try and burst on these apartments, abandoning banana at the early timings of the round completely. Actually going to try to burst out the balcony. This will be quite interesting. Yuki spots the movement, and that's going to delay things, surely.
What does he do with the AWP? Okay, they do not pursue, especially because of how funneled the apartments are. They would have taken colossal damage trying to run through that. And if there was a grenade behind it as well, it would have been like, was it TSM versus Virtus Pro at Star Series when Taz barbecued 3 or 4 players? The Sunday roast, the fabled Sunday roast. 1 minute mark and TyLoo are in the mid position. Snappy has been left alone with banana. Capable hands, one of the 2 sniper rifles. Config just shy of Speedway to have the initial engagement. This is similar to a Liquid setup, what we're currently seeing from Config and Cajun, where the player looking through Arch would take the initial engagement with a pixel angle, and then the Arch player further back near Library would pop out and abuse the distraction. Snappy going for a flick. Config is close by, and KGB's rotating as well. So, again, we'll try for the most part, but Bentet is ready for it.
That's a big one. Now Snappy with the AWP misses his shot. The spray coming through though is doing some damage. HB can't quite see the player above, and Snappy will go down. This looks like it could be an opportunity now for TyLoo. 2 versus 3 with the AWP on Captain Mo. KGB will dart through the smoke though, and he'll understand that Banana's completely clear. He's got a teammate coming from that position as well. Captain Mo is pivotal. AWP defender. It can be very strong, but now he's alone. Hits the first shot. 2 more to go. Now just 1 as he looks for the final player. Where is he, though? Doesn't know, but here's the sound cue. There's no flick. Gade gets it done on the rotation. Saves the day for his 14th kill. And there comes the defuse. Plenty of time. He is having quite a fun game, James.
He is indeed. And it was fairly recently that TyLoo got this 1 round on the board, which means they're still building their loss bonus. And even though they planted the bomb, the money is not great at all, looking towards their next buy. Great performance from Captain Mo, though. He made it expensive for the CTs. That may have a part to play later on. We will have to wait and see. I think Cajun B, I feel like he didn't see the player over the smoke because I think that's a resolution thing. I don't know what res he plays, but I imagine if he was 10 ACP, there's a reasonable chance he would have seen that player, but here we go. Well, also, sometimes the smokes are worse on their VODs and the spectator clients. Quick shot from OpTic, and they will move back as there were holes in the defenses there in the short term. Snappy and Config on Banana. And they await TyLoo. Do they expect a buy? Do they expect an eco? Maybe even a half buy. Still waiting to find out. Not many shots have been taken by TyLoo just yet. TyLoo walking very slowly, trying to avoid the initial grenades and exhaust the utilities before they try to play the Founders game into the B-bomb side. Cajun B is jiggling towards Arch, and I do wonder how curious OpTic will be towards that A site. Wonder if they get their rotation in time, because right now it's a 5 versus 2. Obviously, TyLoo only have 3 players with Kevlar. Snappy's falling back for the pop flash, and the timing is absolutely perfect. Config will get a 1 versus 1, but he gets traded, and Snappy has a lot to do to keep this bomb from going down. They will combine forces, and at the very least, there'll be a bomb plant for TyLoo.
Yeah, another 2v3, but the lineup there with the decoy. I almost saw a double coming in. Unfortunately for Captain Mo, though, it is not the case, and he will go down. The bomb planted, and as you mentioned, yeah, there is a round loss bonus to go on top of the money that they just picked up from the bomb plant, so it's going to look very good for them. But they need to win rounds, and so far, OpTic have shown that they have this CT side on absolute lock. I have to say, this CT side from OpTic is so solid, like from a fundamental perspective, the ways that they're choosing the CT setups, how they're playing them, the sorts of ways that they're understanding how to read various situations and play off of each other. It's really looking very good, honestly. Great fundamentals. And TyLoo have been unable to really break that. So, really excited to see if they can make something happen in this round. Xcurate back on the AWP. You know what he's able to do with that thing. Yuki going aggressive in the apps, though. Denied again. We never see Yuki go too aggressive, though, which is quite cool.
Yeah, again, I do think that we're seeing heightened aggression from OpTic Gaming. And I do think it's a cultural thing, because they are not playing a team used to European Counter-Strike as much as, well, a team from Europe. There are liberties that they can take that they wouldn't be able to against a different team. And it's been hard for TyLoo to adapt to that. They've punished a peak here and there, but it's 1 round to the 9 of OpTic. That is the main headline. 58 seconds on the clock, and more grenades being deployed as a flashbang for a jump peak, but somebody's like, hello. I think he's gone the wrong way. Ah, it's a fake. But they're not going to play for a frag. Gabe's gone down somehow, and now Snappy has to try and do what he can with the AWP. He is capable. 3 versus 5 at the moment. There's 1, but only 1.
Yeah, it's really hard to know which way to peek there, and this round works out quite nicely here for TyLoo, and the money's actually not that great for OpTic. They will be able to full buy this next round, I think, but if KGB can survive, they absolutely can.
As you can see, some rotators were taken out in the arch position by somebody, which was a nice job as well.
Big kill.
It was pretty cool parkour. The funny thing is, because he jumps out of the balcony and then runs back up to top mid, because it's TyLoo, you never quite know what is going to happen afterwards. It's pretty cool to see. But here we go. They've got their second round on the board. Now, OpTic Gaming have another buy in them. But if TyLoo can win this round, then there's no money left for OpTic Gaming, and perhaps 6 rounds in the first half is a doable mission for TyLoo.
Yeah, I'm still wondering how Gates died, because he died in a Molotov and he was in the corner of pit, so I can only think that he was blind or something.
Maybe he was in a duel crossing or something like that, and most of the damage was done by a gun.
Well, maybe, but the player jumping out of the balcony just jumped straight back in towards quad, so I don't think he...
It was magic.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just a mystery. I think it's if you know, just please tweet me, because I'm very confused by that. But it is... Maybe there is some light at the end of the tunnel here for TyLoo. They've managed to get OpTic onto what could be a last buy, and if they want to have a competitive half here, TyLoo must win this round, and OpTic will be actually going for a double orb, which is going to deny them having much in the way of utility, and we know how important utility is on Inferno, so that might encourage Yugi to maybe this time he will go for a full deep peek on second mid with that orb, or maybe a mid push. You never know.
Interestingly, because they've played 11 rounds so far and they've been pretty comfortable, I would say, especially at the beginning of the rounds, it might be that they need less utility, for example, to secure Banana and set up the AWP than they might in a different match. That may have something to do with it. We'll have to see what they try to do. Bentet just quickly reconnecting to the server. Something is going on with him, and once that's sorted out, we will be good to go. 2 rounds for TyLoo so far, and no one has more than 6 kills in the 11 rounds which have passed for TyLoo. DD and somebody with 6, Captain Mo with 5. Captain Mo, a man who was walking again after having a... Was it a tibula? Fibula? Tibula?
I'm not going to comment.
Something in his leg was hurt, and then he couldn't walk for a while. But now he can walk, so that's good.
I think it's tibia if it was.
Tibia. It's tibia and fibula.
Is it? No, it's fibia. Is it fibia?
I'm sure one of them is ula.
Your thigh bone is the femur. I know that one. And tibia, I think, isn't that your forearm? I forget. Honestly.
Somebody tweet us science, please.
And give us the
tibula. Tibia. Okay, is it fibula?
I really feel ashamed of my
Yeah,
anatomy.
it is fibula. Well, there is a fibula.
It's the word. Yes.
The fibula or calf bone is a leg bone located on the lateral side of the tibia. There's a bone in your leg called fibula. Let's just say that. So I was partly right. I knew one of them was ula. Anyway, we are back into the match. So we have the 2 AWPs. They do have a reasonable amount of grenades. They hadn't brought them all up
that's crazy,
when we were first observing, but here we go.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
The odds are going up on TyLoo. It was 4 point something, now it's a clean 5.
Yeah, they have to win this round. Yeah, here is the mid-aggression. Beautiful. Yugi going deep. How long will he stay out there for, though? We have seen this pacing from TyLoo where they have pretty much all of their players, except for one, just on T-Pit, and they're going to burst into Banana, in fact, with this. And this is quite a cool move, considering that OpTic don't have that much utility. It's difficult for them to stop it at this point in the round.
Yeah, that was nice. They threw a Molotov behind the car position, through the smoke, had a pop flash. Let's go. Let's take this away from them. Try and catch them out of position. Didn't quite happen, but they have Banana early, so we won't have the shenanigans of old. Yugi still has eyes towards, towards top mid, but he's just been smoked off. So now OpTic don't have any information to either side. KGB engaged playing on A. So this will be a surprise for TyLoo. They're looking at a 5 versus 2 situation at the moment.
Yeah, OpTic are really just conceding any information in this round, and they have to rely on just a skillful hold. It'll be very difficult against the grenades. Good start. Snappy picks up one. Second one will be whipped though. Config cleans up. Great spray comes in. Snappy still needs to be dealt with, and eventually DD will deal with him. Now it's up to them to deal with Config as well. Picks up the AWP, in fact, as it's just DD left, just jumping around the coffins back in towards the pull position where Yugi will find him. And OpTic Gaming will take the round with just only one player lost.
They have to get more frags out of that.
Yeah, that was impressive by Config. The spray was so effective. Here it is.
That's crazy. They had so many people, but they just couldn't do it. Exco gets shot in the bum as well. Nobody likes that. Unless it's a vaccine. So 10-2. I think half time will be a relief for TyLoo at this point, because if you get one kill out that situation, then don't know how much hope there is for you. Two players with pistols in this round. Yugi not afraid to peek. I was going to say let's see if he's good at a Jack-in-the-Box game, but doesn't feel like playing right now.
I like the incendiary there. He knows that there's not enough time has gone in the round that that's the first timing that someone could reasonably push him from the boiler position, and then he wanted to rotate out of that position. And there goes the incendiary. So, like clockwork, literally, therefore Yugi with the AWP and his repositioning. Timing a very important consideration in the game of Counter-Strike. And here comes the push into that A-bomb site. Will this work out?
That was a great flashbang on short, and it allows them to close the distance. Yugi has been taken out. Lovely opening frag, but there are smokes all over the place. Who will they face? Gade creeping around from the graveyard, but he can't quite get anything done. Well, one kill, but he's traded immediately. KGB falling back. Fading to black. Config top mid, and Snappy from the B bomb site. They don't really have the money, OpTic. There's a 2 versus 4, and there are more rounds to play, so I think TyLoo may have got themselves round number 3 in the bag. Yeah,
the set piece worked out really well. That Molotov seemed to do a huge amount on the bomb side. You know, Cajun B, like, just stuck repositioning for what felt like forever, I'm sure, for him. And Gade only got 1, close to getting 2, but with nothing from Cajun B as well, that was just a slight loss. So, really nice push in from TyLoo. Can they replicate it, though? It's not exactly the same situation, obviously, as we saw on Gambit's T side just recently with Overpass, where it's like, okay, nothing really works, but if we just rush them, we might have a chance of winning rounds. I don't think it's quite the same situation, but it definitely is a pretty troubling one, because consistency, like rushing is not the most consistent way to play the game, and so far that's mostly been what's worked for TyLoo. That said, it can be, stylistic for them, but we'll see if they can offer up something here now that OpTic will have a low buy. Some decisions to be made here.
Yes, indeed. A tactical timeout from OpTic as they consider their options for the last 2 rounds. Weapons are being dropped. Snappy and Cajun B will have UMPs. Yugi will have the AWP. Config on an M4. Again, some trivia for you. The UMP is the successor to the MP5. UMP45 is like a upgraded MP5. People think MP5, MP7 in terms of lineage, but no, MP5 is the dad of the UMP45.
What's the wife, James, of the
I don't know, the science is beyond me.
Well, again, like, the buy actually doesn't look too bad. When you throw the UMPs in the mix, $1,200 for those, you get almost full names. That's it's pretty awesome on this map. Now, what can they do with it? OpTic have had, of course, just repeated success on this CT side of theirs, playing 3 towards B at the start of the round, and TyLoo, they have a quicker pace into the apartments this time around, and they are respecting the smoke grenades of OpTic on that banana position to start with. And you can see that this is definitely a play that Snappy really wants to make with this UMP. Any way that you can get close with that weapon, you're going to try to choose to do so. And they've got Cajun B with the other UMP with him as well. So we might see a push timing if TyLoo don't go for a retake of banana. But if they do, and it looks like they may actually opt to do that, it could be a whole world of pain at the hands of those UMPs.
Smoke towards Arch. There's a response from Yugi in case of a fast play from TyLoo, and he will fall back as he is pretty much forced to at this point. 3 players on banana, very aggressive positions. Captain Mo caught by surprise, trying to trade the frags. Pente gets more than that, and he's going to run up. They think there's only 2 people towards B, but Config is there as well. But what can he do? What is caused a rotation? Yugi and Gade looking for info top mid, and somebody still lurking in apartments. But he's not going to see these players. DD exchanging with somebody, with Gade in the mid. And now there are 2 CTs towards this B bomb site. They still don't expect Config, but he's being spotted, and there he goes. Yugi now making his way towards construction perhaps, but what can he really do in this situation? In the meantime, somebody picks off the player who was exchanging with DD elsewhere, so now it's Yugi versus 4.
Yeah, he might be in a bit too deep here with this AWP. going to be impossible, surely, to push this bomb site. He may just have to stay put, and eventually the bomb will kill him. There's no way out of this situation where he survives, I think. So, might want to just try to get as much damage as you can. He'll get peaked, in fact, so offered up the damage. Ooh, no scope opportunity, will whiff. And well done to TyLoo. You got to give it to them to sort of deal with the setup in the way that they did. That was a great follow-up from Bentet, opening things up. And also, I think what was really cool was OpTic's, the way that they decided to play that round. They're like, okay, we've got 2 UMPs, let's get them close. You know what? Let's just make a 3-man setup on Banana with it. And I think there's a world where that goes right much more of the time than it goes wrong. So again, credit to TyLoo, picked up the 4th round. If they can get number 5 on the board, which they're likely to do so, considering the weaponry difference, then that's a good place to be on that second half. Good enough, at least.
Snapping a config towards B. Not much to play with. It's TyLoo with all the toys. Captain Mo and Bentet ahead of the smoke at the bottom of Banana. High flashbang will be a warning sign to OpTic, and they start to fall off. No rotation from the 3 players towards A just yet. Possibly assuming that TyLoo are just looking for map control right now, and they will not pursue further with a minute 15 on the clock, and they would be correct. Snappy moving back, lining up a flashbang towards Pool if necessary. But here come TyLoo towards A. 5 players. Somebody has kept the CTs honest, just being outside apartments in case they push or go to the balcony. An exchange of fire, Mo the recipient. Now config starting to creep towards B. Towards Banana rather, looking for information. That's a well-timed smoke grenade. That will slow TyLoo down.
This buy is, I do actually have some fear here for TyLoo. Timing, ooh, that said, OpTic are rotating towards A with 4, so just config on that. B bomb site's the last round though, so they're going to have to go for it anyway. Through these, what will likely be some smokes, but somebody will cut off that rotation, so it looks like it's going to be held onto very easily here for TyLoo. So 5 rounds surely in the bag at this point, and
when TyLoo started rotating to the B bomb site, there were 5 smoke grenades around the A site, towards the library position, towards Arch, and elsewhere as well. There were 5 smoke grenades, so that's a lot of information OpTic don't have. And on previous rounds, we saw TyLoo with a smoke on the hay bales and pop flashes with players jumping out. So probably made OpTic fear and execute. So TyLoo managed to find themselves towards the end of this half, and that will be good for 5 rounds, it seems. Cade left with the 5-7. Just statistics now, but his will get a bit worse with that kill. 10-5, TyLoo with 5 rounds on the board, and you would be maybe surprised to see them get this far with how the first half of the first half was going, but here they are, they got 5 rounds, and now there is a world of potential, but the first step on the road is the pistol round.
yeah, OpTic did play a really good Inferno, I have to say, on that CT side. And I think that TyLoo have a lot to live up to in that sense. First comes the pistol, of course. But I'm just happy that they managed to get a few rounds on the board. I really wasn't expecting it when we saw, you know, what was it like? Would have been like, I don't know, 9-8-2, something like that. Either way, what do we have here for our teams? We've got OpTic Gaming with 2 men who have grenades. Config getting a P250 as well. We'll love to see that. P250, a fantastic choice in these pistol rounds. I recommend it if you have not tried it. Don't need that Kevlar all the time. The utility goes a long way. Snappy with a deep nade. And that's a really cool one too, because you'll often find that there will be a CT sitting there on that angle. And it may be the case that it doesn't have even any Kevlar. So it could have been... can be quite a big nade. OpTic, though, looking to burst on that A site, it would seem.
4 players on A. Is this a hard read from TyLoo? Somebody has much to do. DD he's on the site with a CZ, so we'll see how that goes. Well, he'll get the first frag. Somebody delivering. Captain Mo trying to get his gate impression on. Only 1 kill for him, make it 2. Now config is alone. Nice shot with a P250. 1 versus 3. He doesn't have the bomb. The bomb is deep in the pit, which means he knows he's facing a 1 versus 3 situation. Maybe he can get a 1v1, having a quick peek in the apartment. So many places to look. Graveyard, library, double stack. And that will be that. Somebody with 2 kills and TyLoo get their pistol round with some comfort as well. Happy days for them. Now you have to look towards an 8-10 scoreline if you are a TyLoo player or supporter. That is what they should have. That's what they is on their plates. They just need to eat the food. FACEIT picking up the scout. Did you ever have those times when you were a kid? You can't leave the table unless you eat everything on your plate.
No, because
I had those times.
My mum said that her upbringing, that's how they did it, and she hated it so much.
I had to
she
eat.
didn't subject me to it.
I had to eat a whole chicken on many days. The entire chicken, almost on a daily basis.
Maybe that explains why you're so tall, James.
Perhaps it does.
Standing at a height of 6'4", is it?
It is, yeah. Unless we've got Nikes on. Adds a bit more. That's when I start headbutting the tube doors.
Well, let's see if OpTic are going to be headbutting the... Well, I don't know how to call that, like the top of the doorway as they try to jump out the balcony.
The door frame, Dan.
Door frame, that's what they're called. Nice words. Well, DD's going to be in for a surprise. Oh dear, that's actually the perfect position for him to be in, for the whole team to just run into the bomb site. So this is going to work out perfectly for OpTic. They pick up the FAMAS. Gade gets it. He's the weakest player, but whatever.
Ooh.
Cajun gets a very nice headshot there, and this might be save territory. I don't know how you're going to retake this one.
Just give it up. Give it up.
Ooh.
If you consider they had the smoke down on the site now, I don't know if they expected 2 players to be towards Arch, if that's something that TyLoo do every second round or something along those lines, but there was so much isolation in that one player, and they just got outmaneuvered. The chessboard is all OpTic gaming in this round.
I do wonder if that's one of those situations where, because you're playing outside of what is, let's say, the European meta, that you're not as cognizant to plays like that. But like, to me, I expect those balcony pops like quite often. It's quite in vogue at the moment. When you have those pistols, teams have worked out how to play them really well. And if you have a setup that's when no one's actually playing the balcony, if someone's playing there instead, it's just impossible to stop.
Ah, that's where the second frag came from. Shut it down. That is a surprise attack from OpTic Gaming, and that gives them a 5-round lead. So perhaps the 8-10 was taken for granted, because it will not be a thing, not in this game. Yugi with the scout on the T side. That is a curious one. And TyLoo will buy around what they saved. 2 CZs, the MP9. CZ used to be a nightmare on Inferno. By no means is it a dream, but it's not what it used to be. And I think we are all happy about that.
Somebody almost made into nobody. That scout shot. I'm sure I'm not the first one to make that pun, but whatever. Does get caught by logs. There goes the smoke. Pretty even exchange of damage, though, for both teams so far. TyLoo definitely feeling the pressure. They have 3 smokes and an incendiary, though, as far as tools to delay their opponent goes, and that could go a long way because OpTic are playing slow and they don't have much map control, and we are hitting the 50-second mark now. So OpTic need to get their skates on, and looks like they are fancying that B position. Banana area. That spots it. Further delay. Rotation as well for the CTs. 30 seconds now for OpTic.
The bomb is moving away from the B bomb site, Dan. Is moving up towards the A site. And DD is heading... I'm not sure if he's going towards B or just playing from CT. Arch is being smoked off. We see further grenades being deployed towards that library position. FACEIT is about to be on fire. Fire is not good. Captain Mo, oh, he was so close, but not close enough. FACEIT has a lot to do now. There's one frag. There's a second one. The bomb's being delivered in the corner, or is it? No, DD says no. Nice pairing of FACEIT and DD on the A site to shut everything down. No plant for OpTic Gaming. That's exactly what TyLoo needed.
Yeah, just typical TyLoo fashion, isn't it? There's just a split second, and they'll just get all the kills, just instantly, and no chance to really respond. OpTic, you can see, one of the problems there for them was that they had that time pressure, so it meant that obviously the time pressure is kind of part of the nature of the round because they're playing a fake, and to most effectively run a fake, having low amounts of time when you do it really sells it. but I think, you know, they had a man planting it. You know, that could have been a pair of hands on a gun, you know, trying to trade one of those players on the site. So awkward situation for OpTic, but really well played by TyLoo, all things considered. And it is back to the forces, the battle of the force buys, James. We're going to have OpTic spending everything to try to make this work out for themselves. Do they go for the balcony pop again, I wonder? Surely not.
How can OpTic isolate a TyLoo player and then use that to get into significant position? That is the question. They did it well previously, and that balcony pop, as Dan alluded to. So will it be the same approach? Will we see an adjustment from TyLoo, as it is almost a replay of the round, if you will, plus an AK-47. DD starting from the site, and Execute will be at the top of for the time being. TyLoo having a look in apartment. So a more aggressive angle in apartments seems to be the response from TyLoo, perhaps expecting that this could potentially happen again. There is a hello for OpTic Gaming. Plenty of grenades left for TyLoo at this point, 1 minute 20 on the clock, and here is a flash to force a CT away from that car position.
Yeah, this is cool. It's just going kind of as expected. TyLoo cover all their bases, have to wait for those nades to go away. That's a good peek from somebody. That's actually really important. This was a timing in which OpTic are supposed to be able to take Banana, but they have been unable to do so. And they can't just give up everything on the map. They've got to try to get something, and somebody just wins the battle again, just jumping constantly. Is he playing Counter-Strike or Quake right now? We've got somebody going back in for another one. Almost gets himself number 4. That is a heroic effort from him. And he'll be finished off by Bentet. TyLoo, they were prepared that round, much better than the previous time.
I was impressed with the consistency of his strafe jump peak. It was fun to watch. 11-8, favor of OpTic Gaming. That makes me think, a bit random, but I feel like we should have a surf contest as a tournament with the players. There's plenty of players who are big on surfing. Virtual surfing, of course.
It's always fun to watch Forest warm up with surf. Surf is actually a great warm up, actually, for mouse control. There's actually like you're actually practicing the same movement it would be to do tracking aim, which is what you use for crosshair placement and so on and so forth. So, and also you have the sharp flicks. So it's actually like quite a fun and novel way to practice some mouse mechanics to warm up.
Config is walking through a smoke top mid, or he was. Smoke's gone now. Trying to pre-fire some angles with the Glocks. 5 Glocks! We saw it close enough from TyLoo in a round where they tried to make it expensive for the CT side. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen a round 1 with 5 Glocks. But here we go, OpTic huddled together, sharing the body heat, but the Penguins are about to charge top mid. Numbers game, you can see them jumping wide. So again, even though you see complete failure here, you can still see the intention of OpTic. The initial players, they go wide to draw the fire of their opponent, and then the other guys come in to try and shoot them for free if they can. It's an important approach to know when you're in a situation like that. Same as pushing Monster on B of Overpass. Have your initial players go wide so you can spread out and try and abuse that numbers game, get the trades in if necessary. 11-9, OpTic back on the buy. 5 AKs versus a very well-equipped TyLoo with 3 AK-47s and the AWP on Execurate.
Yeah, this is a really pivotal moment. You know, if TyLoo are going to attempt to do what OpTic did in the first half, this is what, you know, they have to win the round now, just cripple the economy of their opponents, then grow their economy massively, and then things start to get really good. They've got 3 AK-47s already to play with in this round. That's always a sign of confidence here, and here comes the challenge from the 2 players of OpTic. That is beautiful from Config. The spray from Bentet, only good for 1, gets some damage, but it is a fast response here into that B bomb site here for the OpTic Gaming players. As Execurate quickly makes his way through construction for position. Maybe, just maybe, he can get someone. No, he's smoked off. But he has the angles. That's close. Oh, the second follows, and the bomb is not down. Someone has to go and plant it.
Will they try to plant in exactly the same place? It appears that they might. A slight difference, but people are still alive. 3 versus 3 reset. You know where the sniper rifle is, and now he's trying to make things loud for them and go for some wallbangs. In the meantime, KGB picked off, but there goes Captain Mo. DD coming up from that position. Execurate. How on earth did he get that one? Game will be frustrated, but now it's Config 1 versus 2. The Molotov will force him away, and he can't get into enough cover to deal with the last two TyLoo players. Double figures for TyLoo. The gap is reduced to 1. That's 4 rounds in a row for TyLoo. And OpTic will just about be able to buy, and they may be inclined to with only 2 TyLoo players surviving.
That wallbang is becoming, like, people are finally starting to, everyone's finally starting to learn how to do that. I've seen it happen so many times in professional matches that people just like kind of misline it up, and there's no reason to do that because the smoke is always the same, which we saw in front of Excurate there, and he just nailed it, and we're seeing that consistently now. I wonder if people have to start to consider that and to put flashes there or find some way to deal with it, because that lost them the round, like having Snappy die in that way.
Yeah, what is the plan B if a CT is next to you in construction and is going to wallbang you? What is the alternative option? Something to consider, because if you go like next to the fountain, for example, you might have if like the rifle is there, he may try and spray first oranges, second oranges. So perhaps there is no ideal situation.
You just have to plant a bit further, like in front of the smoke, instead of behind the coffins. At least it's more unpredictable.
Pistols again for OpTic Gaming. They won't force it up. They want the utility, and again they can. Again, look at that. It's a snail of smoke grenades in the pit position, and Mo only good for the 1 kill. That's a rifle to be collected by these players, but how do they get onto the site? Do TyLoo know how many players are in the pit at the moment? Well, start subtracting from those numbers. There it is, 11 to 11. We are tied up.
Great stuff from TyLoo here. They are really steamrolling OpTic on this CT side of theirs. Really cool to see that. That, you know, the horrible kind of memories of themselves getting crushed in the first half was, you know, didn't faze them whatsoever. They knew that their time would come, and it looks like that is the case. Their money is looking fantastic. OpTic, can they stop this? Here comes OpTic very quickly up Banana, through the fire, and into somebody's rifle. And he gets the follow-up. That's a terrible start. That's terrible. What do you do from here? Versus these 2 players immediately on your Banana aggression. It's failed so hard. It's a tough situation. Let's see what they come up with. So flash over the wall so that Yugi can peek and clear top Banana. It's a start, but they are going to have to just somehow walk into an angle and get a pick. I mean, how else do you come back from this position?
They have the talent for it. A flashbang over the roof could take a peek from coffin away. That's where somebody is. Not an AWP, so arguably could be worse. OpTic Gaming. Now, they still have a numbers advantage in terms of the engagement on this site. TyLoo playing the waiting game. It's going to be a very long rotation from those CTs. Bentet's going to bounce the flashbang over the wall. Yes, he is forced away from the Molotov. Oh, the grenade lands at his feet. He even jumps, trying to like go for a Quake boost. Rocket jump there. Nice spread from somebody. That leaves Cajun beat alone. 1 versus 4. Bentet now waits. Oh, that's awkward for him. Looks away just as Bentet peaks, and there will be no bomb plant for OpTic Gaming, and that means they are potentially back into eco territory, around 3,500 average for the team.
They are having quite the problem.
That second frag was huge by somebody. Huge. Look at the money on the CT side. DD's got $15,000. He's got game show money.
Yes, it's out of hand, out of control. OpTic Gaming's T side not looking good right now, but let's not forget what happened to TyLoo. You know, they had a huge struggle too. OpTic just need to have a good couple rounds to get themselves back in it. And maybe they'll have a chance to win it. Very passive setup here. You can see that TyLoo are expectant of the previous shenanigans. Once again, no balcony pops will ruin their day this time. Yuki just making sure that that bomb absolutely does not drop on the floor. And the balcony pop will be forced, but TyLoo were ready for this.
Oh, so here is that strat again where they put the smoke down to try and isolate players on the site, but DD and Mo are here. DD blind, he gets one kill though, and it's a stream of kills from the CT side, and Mo still has the balcony area shut down from the pit. Now Config, 1 versus 4. We've seen him do things with a Deagle. There's one kill. Now he's got 50 seconds to try and reset the situation. The bomb is in the pit. He's expecting a rotation. Now the question is for TyLoo, I mean, the longer he waits, do they send somebody towards the arch position? Somebody that doesn't know if Config has crossed yet, but never mind, because Execute will take him out near the boiler. 13 rounds for TyLoo. Lots of money for the CT side, which is a huge factor moving into the final rounds of this game.
Yeah, it really is. TyLoo are looking so strong at the moment, and OpTic need to find some new breath of fresh air, or some new breath of life.
Maximum loss bonus, 3,400 a round.
What's the solution here for them? They've generally been unsuccessful taking banana. That's kind of somewhat of an issue. They seem to always be taking losses there. You know, we saw that previous round where they were really trying to get a fast timing on it, and they lost 2 players straight away. So maybe they can consider trying to do a delayed banana take, wait for those initial CT grenades to go, and then execute into that banana position with your grenades later on, and that way there's less risk. You lose some time, but there's less risk. Okay, Execute with the AWP. What is he up to here? Play things standard and safe. Nice nade there onto Bentet's position. Some nades thrown back will not hit the mark. Is the OpTic actually evacuating the position? Perhaps anticipating those counter grenades. Slows down whilst they ready themselves to retake banana at a delayed timing. This is what I was talking about. This is a safer way to do it.
The flash from Snappy helped the team burst into banana. Bentet and somebody are both playing from the CT position. Execute starting to rotate as grenades are deployed by OpTic to continue to move up banana. We see Bentet shoulder peeking. So Execrate's deployed the smoke grenade, if I'm not mistaken. Indeed he has. Not a very good one though, as you can see. There's a pretty big gap. So that gives TyLoo some extra time, and if OpTic try to execute and they have forced through that smoke grenade once again, as we've seen in previous matches of Inferno so far in this major, that's going to be a big problem. 40 seconds, and this is quite something. Now, the CTs can opt to stand in the pull position because you're less likely to be sprayed down from that position. People will try to shoot towards coffins and so on. This is going to be a late one.
They soar through the air as somebody goes for a preemptive peek. They're trying to catch them as they position into the bomb site. Gade will burn Bentet. Config will rip somebody's head off, and Execute once again from this position. Previously he was able to stop the plant, but you can see that Snappy is planting in a slightly more safe position there on top of the coffins, as opposed to in that little nook. And a 5v3. Oh, that's not gone well, has it? Okay, well, never mind then. Let's get out of here.
Guess it did the job. So when those all those grenades came in from OpTic, very meticulous, well-placed Molotovs on the site. I think somebody had a pop flash, which just about stopped their initial push, but OpTic still managed to get the frags, and that is the round. So now we see adaptation from OpTic, an elevated plant, which gives them more cover from the wall itself, as opposed to being shot through it. So that's a plus. Something for all the other teams to watch. 3 players survive for TyLoo, but again, they've got money. But can they reset? OpTic. OpTic have the money to buy regardless at this point. So this is going to be a very interesting few rounds. Do you have a favourite at this juncture?
It's difficult. It's difficult. It's hard to know.
Is that a no then?
I think you have to go with TyLoo at this point. OpTic haven't really shown a consistently good approach. I'd like to see them play B again.
See how those odds change?
Yeah.
Went from 5 to 1.5. Sorry to interrupt you. Execute has been taken out towards the bomb site very early indeed. A change of pace from OpTic, and somebody takes out the bomb towards the second one. He was so close, but CajunB stops it. That is a rescue from CajunB. If that flank, what essentially became a flank, hadn't worked out for OpTic, who knows what would have happened. The AWP would have had angles on the bomb, but here we are.
Yeah, they reset the position. I was going to say that I wanted to see them hit B again because I think what they learned in that last round is that because TyLoo was so passive, if TyLoo allowed them to do that and they set up a set piece onto the B side, it was so effective. Their grenades were perfect, and that's something they can just replicate. So I think that's what they were going for, but of course TyLoo trying to respond, they get caught. Now we get a 4v3, the reset. OpTic used that time on the clock to make things really awkward for TyLoo, to make this a more consistent round for themselves. But it seems like TyLoo may have stacked towards the right bomb side here, because OpTic are going into that B side where there's 2 TyLoo players, but can they stop it this time?
4 players for OpTic ready to take the B bomb site, and it seems that TyLoo are looking to gamble stack one site, I suppose, and save otherwise. That's what maybe they're doing. I mean, DD's got $11,000 in the bank. Extra's got 9,000, although we are starting to head towards a time where it quickly disappears, so maybe it's just a gamble in general. Who's better than Bentet to rely on? He's going to go through the smoke. He must have been seen there. But look at the time he planted the bomb. That's a massive frag from him. They know he's going to peek. Where did he plant the bomb? They go for the default plant. Bentet spraying. Oh, it looked like he had the right angle, but the bomb has been planted.
That was close. It's going to be very hard for them to get in here. They don't have too much in the way of grenades. Just one single flashbang left as KGB turns away at the perfect timing. He's going to just turn the corner now and catch one. There's one more to be caught as a very low DD will also fall to KGB. And Bentet realizes that his chances are basically nil now in this position as he tries to back away and see what he can accomplish with that repositioning. But there's no way into the bomb site. And if he hangs out here for too long, the bomb is going to take him out. So waiting to hear the footsteps. Now he knows that the opponents have left and he can safely get out of there.
I wonder what his intention was there, because there was still time to try and get something done in a 1 versus 2, and they've got the money to try and get something done. So I don't know if he was perhaps banking on them leaving early, but he has to be around there somewhere, so we shall see. Maybe he just decided, let me just hold on to my weapon. Somebody's down to 1,600 now, so the money is getting crucial. So at this point, there is a argument to be made to be more conservative in their approach. TyLoo, the score is tied now. Who can handle the pressure better?
Yeah, I would like to see OpTic do like a late B set piece. Just like play around it, just make it look normal, play a default, and then go into a late B set piece once again, because they have been really effective. And if you play a slow round, it's quite likely that TyLoo will get passive and give up banana. It'll be easy to take. And if they've got 5 people throwing grenades, it gets very strong. So you really want to try to maintain the integrity of numbers into the mid-late round to run that set piece. And they are just holding right now, and eventually, you know, they can wait TyLoo out a bit here and see what the response is from TyLoo. They shouldn't give it up too easily. That would be according to plan for OpTic.
TyLoo still have 4 smoke grenades at this point, 1 minute, and that's a problem for OpTic. Oh boy, no more jumping for you. This is not Super Mario Brothers. In fact, there are no 6 golden coins. 4 players off the 5 for OpTic on banana. And OpTic, sorry, Cajun B is in A-App, so we can still try to get something done here. Perhaps move through the apartments and pick off a rotator. So we were talking about the smoke grenades. 1 has been lost. There are 3 on around B for the time being. And yeah, that's also a big frag because it takes the smoke grenade away. DD is the only man with a smoke now, and he's next to Library. So the B guys will feel exposed. 29 seconds, and the bomb is at the bottom of mid, so they're faking B. They're pulling DD out of position. He's heading towards that B bomb site. It seems that Gade will be the one to invest, but he will rotate away as well. Can DD get back in time? Mo is in all kinds of trouble. Sees the Molotov come out of apartments, and there are some players towards the arch, but he finally gets the spray, can't get the transfer. DD popping out of the Library position, so many targets. He's still alive. Can he get a second frag? No, but he's done some damage. 2 versus 3.
Well, the fake kind of works out here in the end, but Yugi sort of try to make this work. Will he go for that peek? He doesn't have to. Extra is on that angle. He desperately wants that peek to be made by the T player, but Yugi stays very disciplined, makes it perfect, and they will close down the round. And this was a beautiful finish. OpTic preyed right there on the fear that TyLoo have of how successful these B attacks have been. because they had this spot where it's you know, a situation where it's like, what was it, a 5v4 or 4v4? Like regardless, it's 4 CTs, and the CTs have to make a decision. And they have Banana, they set up the push, they make it, and they go and they decide to make it a fake instead of just going for the full push, knowing that that fear that they've placed into TyLoo in the previous rounds, that conditioning, should surely make it a successful fake, and it was very successful.
That's an example of a team preying on the evidence provided by previous behavior and then doing something different.
It's great calling from OpTic.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're in a position to be able to adapt to things better. And that's an issue, especially when we are this late into the game. Now, TyLoo, this is last chance saloon for them. And indeed, that pressure is being felt, as you can see. 2 sniper rifles coming out for TyLoo in this round. This is a tactical timeout from TyLoo, and they do need this breather. I think that's clear.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Just the release of energy and some time to refocus. They are well equipped in terms of utility. I really think that that round could have potentially been very different had that jumping frag not happened. Because if he is able to see them and fall back, like those smokes are a colossal problem. But here we are. OpTic Gaming in the lead once again. It's been 3 rounds in a row now for OpTic Gaming after a dominant CT side from TyLoo, as OpTic's CT side was dominant for the most part.
And one of the things that's really awesome, if you have a really good caller on your team, once you have a couple of rounds where you see some success and weakness in the opposition, then you have something to build on. Because again, you can start to condition your opponents, you can start to build a structure for what makes like a lot of sense from a calling perspective. And I think that's what's really been happening here for OpTic. You know, we saw the success on the B plays, and then they started toying with that. They started making it safer. They find out the set piece works out really well. They guarantee it with a late round play and so on. But here they want to mix things up. And looks like TyLoo are ahead of the game. They've got 4 players ready towards this A-bomb site to defend this, what is going to be a top-mid burst. That said, only 2 players towards Arch will be able to face this initially, and they will be smoked off. So what will TyLoo do with this?
What a change from TyLoo. They had a 3-man setup on B, waiting for a pop flash play in case of aggression. Now they've got 4 on the A side. Config going for some pre-fire, but it was completely blind and exposed. Captain Mo repositioning. Look at the aggression from somebody. That's a great snap from him, but he can't get around the corner, can't get to cover. Didn't look for the trade frag. I just wanted to get out of there. Maybe thinking they'd be further towards that short position, and now OpTic start to change their mind. Excurate is repositioning, but his timing better be on point. Not hitting the mark there. A warning shot, perhaps. What do OpTic do? Still heading towards that bomb site. There's a nice flick from Excurate. Now there's only 2 players left. Now how do they trade? He resets the position once, and once again, 13 seconds as he just tried to hide behind U-Box. That's massive from Excurate. Oh, he doesn't see the shadow, but Snappy can't hit around now. Surely there's no time to plant the bomb. Or is there?
Oh my god, he actually has time, but there's no way to survive. Pulls his gun out. Ooh, just barely time. If he had made an instant headshot, maybe he could do something incredible, but obviously the odds are so slim to none there, and it will be a great round from TyLoo in the end. And TyLoo seem to just know. Again, if going off of my previous statement about the calling from OpTic, OpTic understood how to sort of dictate the pace and find the weaknesses of TyLoo and manipulate them. In this round, this was the first time in a while we've seen where TyLoo get a step ahead of what OpTic are calling. They put 4 players towards the A-bomb site. They have this awesome setup. And OpTic gave them every reason to think that Banana is super important to hold on to, because they've put so much pressure on taking Banana. That's been the source of a lot of success for OpTic, yet TyLoo just abandoned that. 4 players on A. That's brilliant.
This is heart-in-mouth stuff. If OpTic Gaming lose this round, they've got the money to bring some AKs out. If TyLoo lose this round, it's not going to be very good at all. Let's see how things begin. OpTic moving quicker. Oh, they could catch TyLoo off guard. Did Excurate see something there? See, he's been warded off the jumping. Smoke grenade on the half wall now. Not really something you want to be jumping through. Does he? Oh, looking for the boost. Will there be one? Config walking near gate. It's possible.
Stuff. And OpTic, they want to go back to what works, James. They want to go back for that B set piece.
Now, in a previous round, minute 10, TyLoo had 4 smokes left. Somebody's the only man of a smoke left, and he hasn't been baited into throwing it just yet. He doesn't believe this grenade. Look at the setup on the A site in the meantime. Captain Mo's holding top mid. There's nobody towards Arch. TyLoo have expectations towards this A site. OpTic lining up their grenades. Will we see that smoke to isolate the Arch position again?
OpTic. It's going to be very tough. TyLoo are fairly well prepared for this. The grenades are going to have to be really on point, and they don't have too many left at this stage. And TyLoo wondering what's going on. Captain Mo's going to take a look. Oh, the 1v1 against Yugi. Yugi's going to come out on top here as DD defense finds the bomb. 15 seconds to plant in. Bentet will get shot in the side of the face, and now things are starting to get very difficult. DD in the corner by himself, no support, and that's going to be a bomb plant. Yugi finishing it off in style as somebody goes down towards Library, and OpTic. Oh my god, they make that work with the wrap. And that was such a good choice because the quad side of the A push was really well set up for by TyLoo. It was the Arch side that was very vulnerable, and they walked it all the way.
What a decision to make. That seemed like a snap adjustment from OpTic Gaming. I mean, it takes guts to take these decisions. Crikey, so much information from all these rounds, these 28 rounds which have passed, and everything continues to change. TyLoo likely to hold on to the AWP unless Cajun B gets it.
Reset pretty hard though. It's going to be hard to get a good buy-in. This happened at the worst possible point, James. They had such crazy money for so long, and then right when they need it most, the money's gone.
What a scrap between these teams. Config heading towards the 30 bomb, 26 kills at the moment. See if he can perhaps get 4 more. As OpTic are in a good position at the moment. TyLoo with 3 smoke grenades, a reasonable amount of rifles, but somebody who's been important in this match is on a CZ. He's a top fragger for TyLoo. And indeed, it seems that aggression will be the order of the day. They'll have the crossfire set up post wallbang attempt from OpTic.
Yeah, I have to say I do think the calling's been pretty darn good here from OpTic after the first half of this second half. And Xcure, he waits. This is very strong. Oh, that's beautiful. And DD follows up as well with the rifle. That is absolutely what TyLoo needed. Now it's desperation mode from OpTic. They've got to find something with the remaining weapons that they have. Yugi needs to open up the round for them. I don't really see them winning this any other way. Or Config, can he find a fast headshot? Mo only has a UMP. It's not a great distance for it. Config absolutely has an advantage in an all-out fight, but Captain Mo will not give him an all-out fight. He's going to be playing the smoke.
Blockerino. They're not standing next to each other just yet. He will hear the grenade being primed though, so maybe he gets something out of this. Captain Mo clearing the CT position. And now TyLoo will feel vulnerable on this A site. What do OpTic choose to do? They're still not really giving too many cues away. Yugi jumping. He's trying to give them the impression of something, I can assume, with the sound cues he was making. And here comes the rotation towards the B bomb site. 25 seconds. Still a smoke up on Banana, but soon to disappear. Bentet expecting a wrap, which means that somebody's isolated. How are they going to stop this TyLoo?
Sees it out. Good counter flashes. Almost 10 seconds now on the clock as Bentet turns the corner. They line up, but he can't get a single one. Yugi with a clutch shot there with the AWP to save them. Now somebody with a CZ. 4 seconds. He's got to plant. The bomb's down. If someone picked it up in time, they're going to survive with players surely. And TyLoo, they secure the overtime. What a clutch shot there onto the player attempting the plant. My God, this one's not over just yet.
That is absolutely crazy. Just the decisions being made from one team to another. Yugi almost has to shoot through 2 of his teammates to take out Bentet there. But still, not enough to win that round. Not enough to win the game. Not yet. And all the money is reset, as is the situation. Who has the momentum now as we move into overtime? This is, I think, the 6th overtime of the day. Although 4 of those were in one match.
Yeah. No, it is, I think. That was crazy. And going into the overtime now, I have no idea who's going to win this. When you're playing that, when you're playing in regulation, you're building up these rounds, and you use most of your playbook, and you start to condition your opponent. As soon as you get to the overtime, that starts to slowly but surely just go out the window. And I think Jason in the 5 overtimes they had earlier, or 4, sorry, described it quite well. That people just start playing more risky. And you try to get just extra ounces out of each and every play. And I think that's what we might start to see here. Both teams playing a bit more loose and aggressive. I hope so, at least. That's fun to watch.
This is really awesome. I think it's a great test for TyLoo. Even like whether they win or lose, you can see that they're under so much pressure in all of these rounds, especially while they're on the CT side. And I think it's just good to help you grow as a player in general. Here we go. Everything resumes now. And look at that. The odds are tied up. Everything is even now. They've been swinging all over the place because the CT halves have been so dominant. So you see the first one, you're like, holy crap. Anyway, AWP on both teams. 3-man investment towards the banana area for TyLoo, and Config thinks better of it. Light damage taken by OpTic at this point, and there is a smoke down on banana. Now TyLoo get into position, but Bentet's been taken out through the smoke by Config. Always up for a dirty frag is Config.
Yeah, that's perfect timing. Oh, they're going to burst through. This is a great moment for them to do so, but the spray is fantastic for somebody as Excurrent lays into them as well. Eventually the trade comes out, but it's a committed play. OpTic must make good of this, and they're going to smoke off, actually, and they're going to play the 2v3, and they have over a minute to do so. So that's actually not a horrendous situation. They can play with this.
Yeah, Snappy had to smoke off because he was on his own and he's carrying the bomb. If he goes down there, that's a wrap. Now there is some semblance of a reset. Captain Mo. It's basically a 2 versus 1 wherever OpTic go at this point because of what TyLoo were trying to cover. Grenade spotted by Excurrent, and another one. And he's forced to fall back. Now he's got to be careful when he chooses to scope. Has he been heard? There's another flashbang for Snappy. He better make it count. Mo's on the way. There's a smoke in the CT area. Oh, he's blocked himself, but he still gets around the corner because the flashbang comes just in time. And that is that's just rude. That is just straight rude from TyLoo. Excurrent straight in the face. The flashbang and pull saved his bacon. Otherwise, there's probably a bomb plant at the very least.
Great work there from somebody. I felt like that was some great decision making from both teams. You know, the way that they wanted to commit into that position, like really cool setup from TyLoo as well. Really hard to see which way that one's going to go. Excurrent though showing his class. Now, TyLoo win the first round of overtime. It's 16-15. Those of you audio only lads.
Ooh, Yugi taking massive damage from a grenade. I have not seen that one go so deep from top mid. That was colossal.
It's not a great start to a round. TyLoo definitely showing some grit, determination here, and I think it was that T side of theirs that was the most questionable. So I'm really curious what happens when the sides do switch, but for now, they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, in that sense, they need as many CT rounds as possible. Config having a look-see. Now, how far will Config choose to go? Because the rest of OpTic are looking towards the A site now. I was going to say if he's keeping them honest, maybe he'll see what is going on as Execute comes in, but he's come to join his team. A grenadeless Config. And as you can see, there is expectation from the CTs towards the A bomb site. Somebody in the arch itself. I think he was trying to block the grenade, perhaps. Sneaking ahead of the flashbang. It could have been two. Oh, it's a team kill, in fact, because players were low, and he's fallen back into the smoke. It's just so smart because he will hear them running past. Two of them. Config having a look, but surely he will not expect this. This is a masterstroke from somebody. Will he even be needed? Yes, he's one more frag for him, and that is a clean round from TyLoo. They've polished the furniture. Everything's shining.
Yeah, the CT side of TyLoo looking really sharp at the moment. And OpTic have been struggling with it a lot. Like it's been very difficult for them to make it work. For me, it's the reason they got so many. Well, the reason they got rounds on their T side in regulation was due to good calling. Just like really good decision making, because TyLoo not really like from an individual standpoint. TyLoo are very difficult to deal with individually. And so you can't hope to really get too much mileage out of just finding like 1v1s. You got to play a really smart team game to get past TyLoo.
I imagine that somebody went through the smoke in arch purely because he doesn't know if he's got time to run all the way back towards library or sites. But the T's can't be expecting him to re-emerge from that smoke afterwards when they have pressure and they've got to run towards the site. So that was really awesome to see, especially from TyLoo. One more round to win for TyLoo, then they've got 3 match points. It is so important that OpTic Gaming can survive. But look at what they're equipped with. 1 AK, triple UMP, and a Desert Eagle. Sorry, Asma's saying hello to me. Bentet and somebody on Banana. Banana smoked off once again. This is has been a very trying game of Inferno for both of these teams.
Yeah, I don't want to like call it early or something, but TyLoo, they're looking quite scary here. If they get 3 rounds on this CT side, it's going to be tough for OpTic, that's for sure. And OpTic decide to make their way in towards top 8, but they don't have wrap potential. They're going to be funneling quads, and that is never a good sign. It's desperation here now for OpTic Gaming. They are falling like flies as they make their way into the bomb site. The rotation's coming in, and they've barely gotten any ground here. Config really going for it. Does all that he can, but it's not going to be enough. That's 3 rounds. That's every single CT round of overtime 1. As TyLoo switched to that second half, that T side where they had so many problems, they've set themselves up well. They must be confident now. And look at the dejection there in OpTic's camp.
He looks like he just opened MP7 Skulls. 3 match points for TyLoo. 3 of them. Now, yes, in parts their T side was a struggle and OpTic played with confidence. But when you're coming off such momentum for TyLoo, such frustration for OpTic, is it going to be like that first half again? I'm not sure. Now it's OpTic at 5. Right, in the first half of normal time, TyLoo were at those numbers. Here we go. Double AWPs for OpTic Gaming. They are all in every round. Again, it is match points for TyLoo. Yugi making some plays into Boiler. How far is he going to go? Risk being taken. DD not ready for that one. That is a closed casket funeral for him.
Now, what is the play here for TyLoo? How do they follow this up? Got plenty of time. So I have 4 players. I mean, typically, if you lose somebody early on, you really need to try to establish some map control and focus on that, because
not somebody, but anybody.
You can't otherwise really do anything in the rounds. And top mid might be the call here. Doesn't seem like there's too much presence around Banana. I mean, they have the bomb there and Execute who's been watching it with the orb, but that's about it. And yeah, indeed, taking away top mid, or trying to do so. Config looking to be a bit cheeky behind the smoke, but looks like TyLoo will evacuate, and they're going to put the presence on to Banana. Snappy lies in wait with the AWP. Flash over the top there. Very responsible. Forces Snappy back. He takes another angle. Can they deal with this one, though?
There is gravitational pull towards the B-bomb site. Config cannot say no. Very close now as we look to a 4 versus 2 situation on the T side. There's a flash, however. Config gets a cheeky one. Pop flash to go for it again, and there's more blind players, and Config is trying to be the hero that they need. Snappy still on the site. 26 seconds on the clock, and somebody's alone. Sees the gun. Snappy was a pistol, and now Snappy's gone. Does he go for another frag? The CT is continuing to encroach on the B-bomb site. The smoke's disappearing. Cajun B knows where the plant is likely. The Molotov is down, but the plant is made. A CT coming from every direction. Can he get the close one? Gates not ready for that. He had no IDs off the site. So many smokes. Now he's got a 1 versus 2. Does he have position, though? Looking towards the coffin area, and there is a player there. Yugi with the AWP as well. There's a Molotov if they realize where he is. But has it gone too far? They're waiting for him to peek, but the fire's not spreading. They haven't touched the bomb just yet. Yugi's going to hold the angle, and he'll be good for it. That's the first round in the bag for OpTic. 2 more to go.
Wow. Somebody really made that, like a really good go of that. He made all the right calls. He somehow with 3 players, just charging him down with almost no space to breathe, finds his way into a 1v1 on Banana, hits the shot, and I feel like he was so close to being able to make a second kill there. Beautiful stuff from him. Great attempt. However, as you mentioned, TyLoo conceding the round. It's OpTic with their first CT round, and can they follow it up? Of course, they need to follow it up twice. They need to get 2 rounds. TyLoo need only 1 to take this match. What a hard-fought match it's been for both teams as well. And the double orbs here for OpTic Gaming should be a good way to deal with things, but what did TyLoo have to throw into the mix? Again, we have to recall that in regulation, they very much struggled on this T side. They got some good A pushes in. Maybe we'll see that this round. Looks like they're set up for something like that. OpTic, though, have a great task force to defend the A-bomb site. They've got 4 players It will be fast to respond. They've left Snappy alone on B.
Granate's incoming. There is a response from OpTic. Almost the same smoke. 4 players here on the A side. There's a minute on the clock for TyLoo. They've got nobody towards Banana. This is still a 5-on-5. TyLoo still at match point, 2 of them. Somebody will use the cover of that smoke grenade to line something up. Please don't bounce off the door. I do wonder if this will slightly bounce, but we'll soon find out. OpTic moving up to top mid, but not quite getting anything out of it. He is running distraction though, and somebody's moved to a better angle to throw that Molotov, instantly extinguished by Gade. But can they extinguish the hopes of TyLoo in this round? Trades. Gade looking over the smoke, and they've outstayed their welcome on the balcony. 25 seconds in this 2 versus 4. DD and Excurate. Can they get anything else out of this? Smoke's all over the place. They are isolated. Snappy rotating in now as the bomb has been confirmed on the A side. DD going forward, but we've got Config in the corner. Next Curate will save the AWP. They need the money at this point. Are we going to overtime to OpTic Gaming? Maybe it's down to you to tell us.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, if OpTic, like in that round, OpTic basically got into a position where they were 1-4. They left Snappy just playing info with the AWP on Banana in case TyLoo went back after the top mid take to that B push. We all know how that position is played out. You mean smoke or flashes and just delays them. Rotation comes in and so on, and that allows you to have 4 players on A, and that's the perfect way to play it. And really, it's TyLoo's job to try to disrupt that, because if you allow the CTs to have a setup like that, and you don't have a good A split where you can wrap onto that A site, and you're just funneling through the balcony in the quad position, it's very difficult to make it work. OpTic showing them that in that round. So TyLoo needs to either find like an earlier pick, or they need to somehow play the round faster so they can force Snappy back, so that OpTic cannot have 4 players waiting for them when they go into a bomb site. Here comes the apps take from TyLoo.
If TyLoo don't win this round, it is advantage OpTic. We waited for the first round of overtime to see how the behavior would be, but Yugi quickly told us that he isn't scared of anything. He's going to play his game regardless of the situation with that pick through boiler. So it is maybe in their hands, OpTic, but they need to survive one more round where TyLoo have the advantage on paper at the very least. Smoke on Arch, and somebody will be subject to another one at the 47-second mark. And again, OpTic have been comfortable with Snappy alone on Banana. Config was about to rotate, but he's gone back towards B. So Cajun B is here. DD jumping like it's a pistol round, and somebody goes down as well. But the bomb's going towards B. Bomb's like Snappy being forced back now, getting tagged, but he's still alive with 5 HP. And there's a third play coming in Cajun B. He's got a flashbang. He can flash for his teammate, but instead he's coming in as a cavalry. Config delivering so many frags though, and here we are, overtime number 2. And I really feel like those odds are going to keep spinning. They're in a tombola, but surely it is advantage OpTic now.
Yeah, you got to feel like that, especially how dominant that CT side was. TyLoo looked really lost, and I mean, obviously, you know, we have a similar situation for OpTic on their T side as well. So it's really a battle of, you know, who can either improve their T side or who just weakens their CT side significantly. So it's one of those games, and as you say, you know, TyLoo had their chance at momentum and, you know, moving into their T side. But now it's OpTic's time.
So basically, nobody can win T rounds at the moment. And that puts TyLoo on the back foot. Perhaps walking to the edge of the cliff. Snappy and Yugi with 2 AWPs at the beginning. Now, in that scenario, if OpTic, it didn't matter before because they were against match point, but if you lose the first 2 rounds of the CTs, when you have double orbs, you're going to be in a really bad spot for the last round, unless you save the bunch. Yugi again getting super aggressive, and let's not forget, in normal time, OpTic were taking liberties on OpTic's CT side, pushing, getting very aggressive versus TyLoo, and it worked time and time again, and it continues to do so here in overtime number 2.
So yeah, one of these teams looking for 24 rounds. Well, both teams looking for 24 rounds. One of them will get it, potentially, to take this one over the line. And indeed, not the best start. But TyLoo, you know, they're about to burst into this site. Maybe they can make it work. 3 players here to respond from OpTic Gaming, waiting patiently. KGB trying to track that player through the smoke is successful in the end, but DD will entry frag onto Config. Oh, they line up for Snappy, and he'll absolutely deny TyLoo. And there it is, finishing off the job. Beautiful stuff from Snappy. OpTic Gaming 19, TyLoo 18.
No plant for TyLoo, no extra money, and while that doesn't matter now, it may do in the next round. Smokes, variants, and double. Ooh, feel it. That's exactly what he wants. What a boost. What a mental boost in a second overtime. 5 AKs for TyLoo. Now, what will their approach be in this round? Yugi continues to look for these early picks. There's nothing TyLoo can really do to stop this. Well, we've got a flashback. They anticipated it this time. So maybe there is something they can do.
Yeah, that's so awesome, having the extra detail. $200 saves a life in Counter-Strike. Donate $200. And deep position for Config here. We saw how good that setup was. Config, or any player playing rifle close and having the AWP far away. TyLoo worked that setup on Banana as well to great effect on their CT side. And OpTic will do the same. So we'll see whether or not TyLoo now, after losing a lot of health on DD and Excurate, can somehow find a way to salvage the round as they take top mid away. But the OpTic having Banana as they do is a problem, because they have fast flanks if they want it, and they have fast information if they want it. Here goes TyLoo back to that position, and Snappy's waiting for it. Will there be a flash?
Does he stand his ground to support his teammate? Once Config starts firing, Config maybe doesn't even need any support. 2 players taken out, and they know no one else is there. And with the smoke down, surely it has to be an A play now. The rotation starting for Snappy, making his way over there. Yugi moving towards the library position. The Molotov, they know exactly. They've taken the choices away from TyLoo. TyLoo have been forced. Does he go for the repeat? He can have a pop flap if he needs one, but he's going for the bait setup with his teammate. Again, kind of a Liquid-esque setup there. But here we go, 4 versus 1, and if they don't plant the bomb, what are they going to have in the next round? Excurates, 1 versus 2. All of a sudden, it becomes winnable. He's got 2 frags so far. Snappy's in the red near library, and Config's at top mid.
And importantly, as you mentioned, the bomb has gone down, so at the very least money for his teammates, but maybe a round as well. Excurate, we know what he's capable of, waiting in the corner of the bomb site, back against a wall. Can these CTs find a way to trade him if he gets the first kill? There it is, looking for the second player, knows he's towards the right side. Here's the jumping Config with the vantage point, looking for the peak. Excurate, discipline, beautiful peek comes in, it's wide, but Config still nails it. And he's got plenty of time, I think, to get the defuse in.
Oh, does he though?
Oh, this is a bit close. Oh, it's actually a bit close, isn't it?
It is a bit close. I mean, he couldn't have even jumped into it because he's got 39 HP, but he's got a defuse there. Ooh, that was a close one. If he had more HP, I think he would just jump into it a bit early. But we've seen that go wrong. We've seen that go wrong.
Yeah, we have. It's funny because that Banana setup, the way that it crushed TyLoo crushed OpTic Gaming the exact same way in previous rounds when they were on CT, so it's just quite funny. But it's hard to know that you have to throw a Molotov to the logs, because so commonly it's going to be that there'll just be an AWPer playing deep, well, far back by himself. So do you want to throw that Molotov every time? That's expensive.
One more round, and we spoke about it in the first overtime, but it's so crucial for TyLoo that they can get a round out of this. And again, we see the importance of the bomb plant for the utility here. For the T side, Captain Mo halfway up Banana, waiting to see what's going on. Do they make a fast play here? Who knows? 2 players for OpTic Gaming, and sometimes 2 players has been enough for OpTic Gaming on this B bomb site. This time there's no early pick in favor of OpTic, just like the last round. And I don't expect that TyLoo will get those early picks, as OpTic did when TyLoo moved to the CT side. So really, OpTic Gaming have more than one advantage here. Are we going to see a 5 versus 2 on the site? Plenty of grenades for OpTic. How long will TyLoo wait? Because they know that OpTic have been aggressive. They don't know if OpTic are peeking top mid, for example, so that might spur them on to make a play through a smoke.
Quiet before the storm. In comes the storm. Let's see if it can be stopped. Snappy picks up the first player. Config, though, he's been so reliable. Gets one. Oh, he's so close with the second.
but no dice. A 3v3 here. Cajun spots Excurate into pool, as Excurate will now ferry that bomb into position for the plant. And we'll see the 3v3 retake.
Bentet's in a position to hear Gade running up the speedway area. Do they read that all 3 players are in CT? He's still looking towards Banana. A Molotov towards the new box, but nobody's there. Somebody standing in a smoke grenade. Is Cajun B ready for this angle? It's Yugi with the AWP. That gets awkward now. They don't know what's behind him. Don't know how much we've seen in the def cam, but it's a potential trade. But no, Gade says no, leaving Bentet in a 1 versus 2. The ever-dependable Bentet, but not today, not this time. It is 3 match points for OpTic now, moving into their T side.
You can see why they put Gade on the pit position. He is quite scary with those multi-kills with a rifle. Very good stuff from Gade. Super focused. Just clearing out 3 players here by himself. Just going for those sprays. Beautiful crosshair placement as well. And the trend continues. Just everyone winning all the CT rounds. Who's going to pick up their first T round? Will it be OpTic? Because they have 3 chances now to put this match to a close. And I think that's definitely got to be in their interest at this point, because how long can you keep this up for? I guess you just have to ask NIP and Astralis, I suppose.
All right then, TyLoo can be afforded no mistakes. 3 match points for OpTic. This one has been a slog for both of these sides. OpTic content to move with 5 AK-47s, which you could argue will give them more trade frag power, should it be required. But many a player here capable of a multi-kill, as evidenced already. Captain Mo perhaps expecting some favour from OpTic towards the apartments, timing things with a HE grenade. The bomb is in tow. Gade looks like he might be lining up a flashbang. The smoke in apartments. Mo's got to keep his gun out though. CT smoking a double stack as well. And, oh, somebody, this is interesting. This is a lot of information, but it's also brittle because if he goes down, that's an empty B. So he will choose to fall back to a more traditional position.
Smart. Also smart from OpTic. They were going to go for a balcony burst, thinking that it would be unexpected, but TyLoo was just so prepared for it, and they pressed the big red abort button on that one. But TyLoo, they still have all the information. The only way out of this is OpTic to just hit some incredible shots. They are not favored in this position whatsoever. This round has gone wrong for OpTic in a variety of ways, and they have to somehow now salvage that. And Excurate's ready and waiting. That is incredibly quick from Excurate. How do you trade that? You can't. I don't think it's even possible. And now they've got 20 seconds to go, and Excurate's still a huge issue.
They hear the scope. Are they going to push towards... Well, they've got no time really. They have to go towards A, but TyLoo are in a really good spot, dealing with a multi-frag, and Captain Mo's there to clean up. There were a lot of perfect situations there for TyLoo. It looked like they were about to push short OpTic Gaming, but there was a flash from somewhere. As soon as they turned the corner, they were completely white, had to fall back. Then they had 4 people just standing up top mid. That must have been a surprise. I don't think they were expecting him to hit from that particular angle, which is why he stopped there. I think they're probably expecting a sniper to be towards the library position. 2 more attempts for OpTic Gaming. But again, they have a similar problem in that they did not plant the bomb. That may have a part to play. We will keep an eye on that.
I think it looks a lot worse than it is in some senses, that last round 2 for OpTic, because they went for a gamble. And it was expected, the balcony pop. And then they gave up everything on the map to do it and lost a player. So there's just no good way out of that if TyLoo play advantages correctly, which they did. And looking to go from strength to strength here, TyLoo, as the mid-take comes in from OpTic. Excurate looking to create problems, and he is ever consistent. And how do they deal with Excurate? Apparently there is no way. Eventually the trade comes in, but he's done so much damage. What do OpTic do from here?
Flashbang, which allows Bentet to peek with the flash behind him. Looking to isolate these players from the bomb, or at least get himself a 1 versus 1. In the meantime, somebody's playing Jack in the Box with a giant gun. Bentet getting close to the smoke now with the bomb behind it. And this is quite the predicament for OpTic Gaming. Somebody... Is he going to peek again? Does he go up? They're off mid for the time being. He sees a trajectory. There is a free kill for him, and now it's a 4 versus 2. Bentet popping out, but he didn't see the player in the smoke. And that gives opportunity for OpTic Gaming. Starting to move towards the B bomb site, but so is somebody.
There's actually a chance here. if they can take down somebody, maybe there's a world where they can do this. Oh, it's a grenade out. It hits somebody, I suppose. Maybe that counts. He has another go of it, though, with the AWP looking towards the side. Hits the shot, but there's 20 seconds now to plant the bomb. Yugi has time and space. He's picked up the AK. I don't know if he has time to really go for an AWP, unfortunately, but a 1 versus 2 after plant. This is doable, but he has no idea where the CTs are coming from.
Mo and DD, no flashes. They have so much area to check, and well, there it is. Mo says no. That's another round in the bag for TyLoo. There's one more to go. Crucially, OpTic got the plant at least, but that was quite something. These rounds, oh. I feel like if anybody wins a T round in a half, that's it. But we'll see.
Crack open the champagne.
Yeah, we'll see. TyLoo have got one more to go. Now, do OpTic do something wild? Do they play super slow? Do they wait to thin out the grenades of TyLoo? What can they do to make TyLoo uncomfortable, to catch him out of position? They did well in previous rounds to isolate players. What do they choose to do?
Looks like they want to go for a banana take after they wait out the initial CT grenades. You can see Snappy lines up the flashbang, and Bentet and somebody will be looking to get a frag as they try to take that position. And if they're able to do that and fall back safely, again, OpTic play with a man disadvantage early on, and that keeps happening. That's out there. He's got to be cautious if that smoke is soon to dissipate, but looks like it's being refreshed. Look how cautious OpTic are. They really don't want to drop a player early here. It's been too much the pattern, but it still might happen. Somebody boosted up. This is a dangerous position. How do you deal with this? Will they try to pre-fire it? Oh my god, it's so scary. Config. Oh man. Another flashbang perhaps. There it is. And somebody will not get a frag. He goes back in for more though, and he gets it. He's not leaving without a kill. My god.
He is on his own. Oh, he's still alive. He's got a... I mean, there's no rotation at all from TyLoo. Why are they non-believers? They just left somebody to just hold the site. And he's only got 3 people on Arch. Now DD's starting to make his way, but it's almost as if their psychic OpTic have slowed everything down. Maybe to suggest that they're going away. They've got some kind of motorcycle tower going on almost on the broken wall. And now we've got 3 people on the B bomb site. The wait may have paid off. Somebody going back, and there it is. Config blind by the second one. There's more grenades flying in, but somebody still has a nice angle. It's all blue, and we are going to overtime number 2. All CT rounds in overtime.
Oh my god! What is like? It's so funny when you're saying like, why are they non-believers? And you think about how aggressive somebody's playing as well. Like he's re-peaking so much. There were so many chances for him to just die there, whether it's a bullet through the wall or like whatever it is. He's just re-peaking constantly, and his teammates are not even touching a rotation at all. At that point.
Can't believe.
Crazy.
That they're just like, it takes so many guts to just leave him on his own there. Like so much harassment. They're like, nah, he'll be all right. They're not going to go all the way in.
And then nothing's happening on the map at all. There's zero information. They're like, yeah, we should rotate now.
It's like, it's scary to watch because I mean, I don't know how you just don't send like the cavalry, everybody.
You know what's going to happen now, James? OpTic are going to get like 1 or 2 T rounds, and then everyone will start losing CT rounds. That's the next evolution of this game, you know.
Man, this is quite something. Here we go. TyLoo now with 2 AWP. Somebody's taking some damage though on Banana. Config. Could he smoke kills, or the jump is what finishes things off, I think there. Oh no, it's Yugi through the wall in fact, not even Config, but he continues to charge. He's so confident, Config. Sees nobody towards coffins, and he's just going to keep going. And now, I was going to say TyLoo may not expect this, but Excurate is on his way. He's on his way. He's got one flashbang. Oh, another flashbang maybe, which will be deployed. And Config is going to go until he rips somebody's face off, and there it is. Is he ready? Did he see a shadow? Did he see something? I don't think he did. And Excurate's here with the AWP. There it is in the face, and he knows the flank is coming, and he's lining it up. In the meantime, Excurate's still on his own. There's still no rotation from the other players, but OpTic have such good positions this time. Surely they go towards B. They know where Excurate is. They don't know where the other 2 are, but he keeps getting kills.
Yeah, now the rotation comes in from the middle position. I'm not sure if Gade knows about it. He was trying to delay them. They are going back to Banana. They've got both Cajun and Gade there to try to defend that. Oh no, the backs are turned. They've got no idea. Now Gade needs to do something crazy, but he can't do it. Down to Snappy. In he goes. There it is. One frag. Next players are very low. This AK could do it, but no. DD will save the day for TyLoo, and it seems as though winning a T round is just... It's just not happening. It is a curse to play T rounds in this game.
This is crazy, man. You know, I feel like I do wonder if Config didn't have that position, if OpTic would rotate into the granite that is the 8 players on TyLoo who just refused to move. But that's such an important frag, and then this, it's madness. It's absolute madness. But yes, another CT round has been won. Do we swing back in favor of TyLoo now?
The crazy thing is that I think the reason they didn't expect the timing on the flank is because Gade was top mid. We didn't see it on our POV. I was watching it on the minimap, and he was playing delay, and they pushed immediately behind him, but just slow enough that he wouldn't hear the audio of the footsteps. It couldn't have been a better timing for that, so it's crazy from TyLoo there. How do you... This is starting to get weird now. This is like the moment when overtimes become weird. Somebody, though, looking for more. Aggression is the name of the game when it comes to these overtime situations, and somebody is out there once again delivering. He is hungry. He's got a quota to fill.
He's got 43 frags. It's like he's smurfing in Silver 1 or something. 43 frags and counting, and now TyLoo completely changed their B setup. They still have 2 smoke grenades. One is just deployed towards top mid. A third one, rather. So let's see, somebody and Bentet, neither of them, all the smokes are towards the A bomb site. OpTic Gaming, are they going back towards A? Cajun B was heading towards apartments, but now it seems he will join them on Banana. It's a guessing game for OpTic. Never know what TyLoo are up to on their CT side.
This is so interesting. This time, though, it seems like maybe OpTic will have space to run this set piece. They've only got 4 players, though, so of course that's less grenades, but that's okay for us enough. It's been quite successful in regulation. But somebody, he's feeling himself right now with this AWP. He goes out there, and he will whiff. Now it's Bentet with the spray down, looking for big kills, but he only gets 1. 3 versus 3 after plant on the B bomb site. Will this be the first T round in I don't know how long?
You have to wonder how much TyLoo will invest into this, because if they lose everything, they are going to be quite weakened in the next round. Maybe looking for the accurate can opening, but Yugi has the angle already. Is there a flash for this position? No, the crouch peek won't be fast enough, and surely it's save time. Someone has to call the save here for TyLoo, because I worry about their money. Somebody's got $150, and now they're trapped. They can't cross, but they've got full health, so I don't know if they'll survive from here. This is kind of awkward now for the CT side. There is DD with 1 frag, and we've got Snappy moving through. Captain Mo will die. DD's got to pick up the AWP. So this is an issue for TyLoo. This is a massive opportunity for OpTic, not just because they've won that T round finally, but the second one could be around the corner. We have to see what kind of buy TyLoo will have.
So I was telling you, James, that's the evolution. Now everyone's going to win T rounds. You know? Although OpTic, they've got to be feeling good after what seems like it must be, I don't know, you're breaking a curse basically at this point. Now, it's a decent look here for TyLoo, all things considered, and the AWP still out, and that X-Grid was saved as mentioned.
Whoops.
OpTic Gaming perhaps will try to open things up similarly. Somebody doesn't have an AWP. This time he's just on a UMP, so he's not going to be quite the terror that he has been on this Banana position, just getting 1 frag every single time OpTic push up Banana. That's quite a cost. That's quite the toll to pay for this position, and this time they won't have to pay it anymore. Oh dear, perhaps there's a different type of toll now. And yes, X-Current. Oh my goodness, Cajun B, his head meeting the guillotine there. That is X-Current's AWP.
Seems that OpTic may keep things simple. X-Current over towards B, let's go towards, sorry, A, let's go towards B. Somebody picked off in the smoke. I think the trajectory of the grenade was enough, and Bentet's in a lot of trouble now. Up against the AKs, the flash from his teammate comes in, but not quite fast enough. Half a second more, and that might have been something. X-Current, so cheeky, the no-scopes, using it as a shotgun, the AWP, not finding anything. Yugi, ooh, through the pillar, but he's still alive. Already in the red, Yugi, gotta be careful.
Yugi picks off DD. X-Current's still out there, though. He knows he's got to go big here in this round. Can he find something? He knows that someone's there. All he can do is try to smoke it off as he pushes forwards. Now it's just Excurate alone, and there's nothing else he can do. It's Gade and Yugi to drive it home. 2 T rounds back to back. That's a luxury. That's a privilege to get 2 rounds. Not 1, but 2 T rounds. OpTic must be feeling good. TyLoo, the pressure has to be incredibly. It has to be insane
yeah, I mean,
on their shoulders right now.
They actually have to win a round on the T side. Well, not even 1 round. More than that. They have to win rounds on the T side, and that is a new puzzle. OpTic have cracked their puzzle, but TyLoo is still with the Rubik's Cube. And the sand is running low at the top of that timer. Double AWPs for OpTic Gaming. Excurate will be sniping as well. Now, let us see what we can see. 40 frags for Config. Continuing to deliver. Has not gone missing in the late game. Somebody with 43 of his own. Right then, TyLoo. OpTic with initial grenades towards Banana. Standard stuff. And Ventet's been picked off immediately. Again, Yugi with an aggressive pick early on in the round. Let's not forget the previous time OpTic Gaming were on the CT side. He did this repeatedly. He is a nuisance that will not be exterminated.
Yeah, but there is a chance here. Yugi... Oh, well, I don't know, actually. I have to take that back because this position looks very strong. Yugi picks off another one. Gade's very blind, but Yugi is in there. Misses the next shot, though. And another one. Maybe there is a chance after all, but the no-scope comes in. The shotgun AWP is Captain Mo delivers death from above as Snappy now rotates on in. Now the bomb is going to be freshly planted. Snappy might feel as though he has the timing to push the smoke. Will he go for it? Yes, he will. USP out. Oh, my goodness, so risky. Has to dodge back through the smoke into safety for the moment. What on earth do you do? This is such a difficult position for Snappy.
So, Captain Mo is rotated off the site completely. So now, I mean, he might think Mo is somebody else, but here we go. And it's so important. I think we saw a brief glimpse of some communication issues for TyLoo because Yugi was peeking repeatedly from double stack and Excurate ran right past him onto the site. So I do wonder if there were some issues with the calls there for TyLoo, but Captain Mo cleaned up. And there we go. All of a sudden, the T rounds are being won. Let's not forget, OpTic Gaming started that round with 2 AWPs, I think. I'm right about that, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, you can see what they have left after their rebuy here. It makes such a difference. If TyLoo win this round, they are in a very strong spot to win the match.
It's crazy, isn't it? That clutch from Captain Mo just went nuclear. Unbelievable. Yuki puts OpTic in such a strong position, and this setup has done very well for OpTic Gaming in the past, and maybe this round it will do the same because in comes TyLoo, crawling up the stairs, and Yugi's ready. Picks up one. The rifle game for Gade, though, is not on point. He's been having a hard couple rounds here. Yugi trying to do it all. KGB with some good support with the rifle there on the bomb site. And TyLoo, do they follow up with this? This is very difficult to push in. You can see why. KGB gets himself another free one as Snappy now reigns in Excurate, and it's just on DD. And it seems as though there's not much to do as OpTic will take the round.
That is match point OpTic. First team to 25 rounds to take this mammoth game of Inferno. All the overtimes today. And that really saves OpTic in terms of what they have, what they carry into the next round. As well as obviously being at match point. TyLoo, do you have another T round in you? That is the question. And now is the time to find out. Excurate still able to pull out an AWP. Lots of AKs for TyLoo and just M4s and AWP for OpTic Gaming. Maybe the AK will make the difference, as it often can. One shot to the head and dead with the AK, you know, for the newer viewers, but with the M4, it will be 2 as everybody is carrying a helmet on the T side. OpTic Gaming smoking off Banana once again. Standard stuff, top mid smoke as well. Snappy though's playing from Speedway, so I'm not sure what the expectation is, but as there's no fast play at the beginning, he starts to move towards Arch.
Coming up to the minute mark now as OpTic have gone back into a 2-3 setup. They started off with 3 on Banana at the beginning of the round, expecting maybe some shenanigans on Banana from TyLoo, but not to be. TyLoo looking for that A play perhaps. They can go back to Banana, but obviously time will start to run low, because if you want to do it properly, you've got to flash off angles and various things like that. They don't really have much utility here, so they may be committed to going to A. We'll have to see what their decision is. They are about to throw the A smokes in, so let's see if they're good for this one on the entry. This has to go well. OpTic, if they hold here, that's it for TyLoo.
How will they play the post plant? We've got almost 5 guys on the site, 1 player staying top mid. Snappy's been arched this entire time. Spray from CajunB. They can use the high ground to look into the pit position, but surely the CTs will expect this. There's Extra at top mid. He sees no one else, which means the rest of them can focus elsewhere. The smokes are going. How will they deal with the pit position? DD getting his bell run. And now CajunB runs distraction while they come in from the arch position, but down CajunB goes. Gade's got to do something, but no one's doing anything. And we're going to overtime again.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I think the pressure is starting to get to some of the players
T rounds
as well, because I told you this is how going to happen, James. It's just the way it goes, isn't it? Oh man. I mean, you can see that Gade there. I feel like that's a pressure thing. You know, he saw that CajunB died, and he's thinking about where CajunB got shot from, and when he peeked, he didn't check the first 2 angles on his peak, and was tunnel visioning on who CajunB just probably called out. So it gets really weird at this point. It becomes a game of endurance, a game of how well you handle pressure. And TyLoo, that was a great round. I don't think we saw that in regulation, where they cut off the pit position and just run into the bomb site. That said, it's a setup that it will only likely look like that if you play it really, really late round.
We've seen them do the smokes at least twice. However, we haven't seen that particular play from them.
Right.
I want to see them jump off the balcony and run up top mid again. I like that play. It's fun. It's like a challenge. If you do this, we'll give you £100 if you can do it and survive. Somebody picked off very early on. Overtime number something or other.
3, I think.
3 players. Ooh, damage being done. OpTic Gaming, the grenades are on point. This could be a nice round from them. At least it has started in a promising fashion. They've got good grenades. They've taken no damage. And TyLoo are taking nades to the tibia and fibula there.
Right, well, Config, he's going to just strafe right out there. Goodbye, Excurate. And TyLoo, they don't really have a way to get through this, but they are fairly committed at this point. Just go for it. And the lineup for Config is all too easy, as he's on 3 kills now, and maybe DD will make it 4. He's stuck by the logs. I think they know he's exactly there, so he is not long for this world, that's for sure. Is there any HEs? There's some Molotovs, some incendiaries. Let's see those, maybe. Nope, Config will get himself the quad kill, and that'll be the first CT round there for OpTic. So, right, maybe back to normalcy. Back to the CT round.
I'm starting to wonder what the most frags is that we've seen from one player in a major. I want to see 60 frags. What was it? What was that match when Guardian played for some team and just like absolutely annihilated the other guys? They were like some lower tier team.
What's that?
I want to see that
Guardian
number.
Annihilated some guys. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I want to see that number. I want to see that number of frags in this game. I want to see 60 frags. Indeed, a CT. To the surprise of no one, a CT round has been won. And let's see. I mean, these teams have to continue to adapt and come up with ways to surprise their opponent, especially for the CT side, who don't want to be too readable, too predictable in how they set things up. Banana smoked off once again, as is top mid. We have to keep wondering about these aggressive plays from Yugi. That may have changed as well, though he's looking into Boiler, as I say that, standing in front of a smoke grenade, but he cannot stand there forever. And he better have his timing on point, because he's still standing there. Although no one is holding top mid. If they were, I do wonder.
That 1 minute mark, and TyLoo perhaps, will they go with what worked before that play into A, just cutting off the pit positions? Again, it's something that you want to try to do very late rounds, because that's when the CTs will be in the most deep positions and you can isolate them better. But we'll have a 2-man setup here on quad from OpTic. This could be dangerous for TyLoo. Yugi's out there. He wants blood with that AWP. He might just get it as well. Delaying things, that incendiary and boiler, definitely makes life more difficult for TyLoo. They're investing in A, but look at the delay game here from OpTic. They're going to slow this right down. This will get tough for TyLoo.
Config moving back towards the B bomb site. That Molotov is perfection. It keeps them stuck. But somebody next to it are starting to move around. There are 3 smokes down at the top of A once again, but look at the frags raining in. Wow. Beautiful. TyLoo were stopped. OpTic Gaming with some forward positions. Probably expecting him to be fighting from the site, but look at the adaptation from OpTic. TyLoo weren't expecting them to be there.
Yeah, that's awesome to see. That's really cool. Yeah, just denying that top mid can be really strong, especially considering that TyLoo haven't been putting much stock in Banana, but they really have been wanting to operate from top mid, making their late round from that position. So strong to shut it down, and OpTic looking for that third CT round that we've been so used to seeing. Act 10 CZ's out here for TyLoo, gets a bit desperate, and they're going to rush Banana. Snappy, oh my goodness, misses the shot there. The flames obscuring DD perhaps. Config, we've seen him do it before. Can he hold this off by himself?
DD waiting for the rotation bottom mid. That's a nice start from Config. Great adjustment as well, and he's still got 13 bullets in the magazine, but he can't do anything else. 3 on 3. DD's moved up now as 2 players come in from Banana and Yugi. Here's a round construction. Somebody may have a superior angle. Lots to play for in this round still.
Oh dear, that's a big problem. DD needed to get at least a kill there. Now somebody has so much to worry about. He has to go into the open. Oh my god, he finds one. Enough time for a reload. I don't believe it. Somebody delivering once again. Yugi out though. Deagle in play, but it's somebody with a CZ to shut it down. And TyLoo get a very unlikely T round at the last round of that half.
Such a needed round. That round is the lifeline in any half of both of these teams. That round. Will we continue to favour these CT rounds though as the teams change places? Have OpTic started to twig about the nature of these non-rotations, if you will, from TyLoo? Because with all the play on Banana, it seems OpTic have expectation that the third player will come towards B. Let's exploit A, and then when they end up going towards B, even then, the third player is towards B. So can TyLoo stay on top of things in that regard? Will they still have that brazen, those calm nerves to deal with this? They start with 2 AWPs, TyLoo. There's the usual bits and bobs. Will we see that heavy grenade beyond that Molotov? We won't this time from TyLoo.
48 kills on somebody, 47 on Config. Those are the 2 players competing for that 60, James. And somebody might be in the lead after this because they're going to charge the position. He is just reliable as hell. But no! Yugi will take him down for once. And now Bentet's in a scary position with perhaps an entire OpTic lineup about to bear upon him. TyLoo actually rotating people this time. And OpTic Gaming, they're going to go for this B play. And it's going to be a very big struggle, I think, for TyLoo to hold this. You know, waiting for any information play. I think there's a player playing anti-flash with Gates, or there was at least. Now they move forward for the grenades.
Even has lineups from up there. Dupree got 54 frags earlier today. Let's see if things continue. This would be such a W for OpTic Gaming. We've got some attempts through the smoke. Bentet starts on. The Molotov contains this one. It's time to fall back because of the flashbangs. And there are 3 fast frags for TyLoo. Make it 4. Cajun B now. That's huge from Cajun B. 2 enormous headshots. And Mo's on the rotation. Cajun B could go anywhere. He's low, but there's so much for Mo to check. Creeping from CT, Cajun B surely got the angle. Mo goes for the crouch peek. Oh my god, Cajun B, what a beautiful attempt from him. That was stunning, those 2 headshots. But no, still no, TyLoo survived.
Oh, I can't believe it. After those 2 kills, you just really want to see him just tie it together with a nice, neat little bow on top, win the round with the clutch, but denied by Captain Mo, who's also been stepping up in this overtime. Okay, so TyLoo, they need 1 more round to equalize with OpTic. What they were able to accomplish in the first half. Let's see if they can do it.
My god, what an attempt. He's a man who was looking forward to rifling after being kind of forced on the AWP in previous teams. That was a great example of what he can do. A great example. Dan, what's going on, man? What the hell's going on there?
Overtimes. It's crazy. People get aggressive. Everything starts to descend slowly but surely, consistently into madness. And somebody's back on the AWP. He wants once again to get those frags rolling in towards Banana, but he's playing more passively here. You can see that OpTic Gaming haven't been conditioned by him too much. They're thinking, you know, if he's happy to challenge us, we're going to be confident to just take him down, as per the previous round. Somebody now in a deeper position, and OpTic have scared TyLoo away from that banana position. Quick pop flash there to further convince TyLoo that OpTic are working more position towards banana as they instead now move towards apps and presumably top mid as well. Minute to go.
Everybody turning up for Inferno. It's crazy how Bentet hasn't even needed to be the star for TyLoo. So much performance on Banana. 3 players here on the A site now, and it's OpTic's turn for that wall of smoke. Oh, KGB jumping off the balcony. Almost getting shot by his teammates, it seemed. Right then, how did they play post-plant? The bomb itself needs to cross through these smokes now, and there is just a raw peek from Mo. No flashes I could see. Now DD trying to hold things down. We've got targets all over the place. Through the wall, he'll get taken down. Execura on the site. Molotov's going in his direction, and he's going to get taken out. Somebody has to get beyond this, but he can't. So they basically win the round from the pit position unless Bentet can clutch. He's got 20 frags so far. Or he could take the high ground and he can avoid config. Sees one, he sees 2. Oh, this could be absolutely brutal. There's one. Oh, no, there isn't. Now there is. But config will trade with the AWP. Oh. He had to land that shot, and he did.
Wow, Bentet. He was so close to making that one happen. When would you ever see a play like that, 1v3 retake on that site? It's creeping up into the graveyard position for that 3k. That was crazy close. And config had to hit his stunning headshot here. Look how incredible the shot had to be for him to stop him from taking the 3 kills and clutching the round. That is just insane. But OpTic, once again, in position now to take it, James.
And a very good position. The money for TyLoo has been decimated, but as we have seen, we can make no assumptions based on this. No assumptions at all.
Yeah.
Execura on his own top mid, but he can't stand there forever because he's got no cover from Boiler as the clock continues to tick. Now, will we see a basic round, if you will, from OpTic Gaming? Nothing fancy, just simple. They know the money is low. We all know how overtime works at this point. Do they just play the numbers game? It seems they will perhaps look to exhaust what little TyLoo may have towards this B-bomb site. Somebody's literally standing in a smoke grenade at the moment. So it seems indeed they are non-believers. He's got 1 smoke for the team, and he's holding on to it. He didn't think this was real. Execura has now rotated towards the B-bomb site as well. Meanwhile, KGB just waiting outside apartments. A re-smoke, and he's still holding on to it. He's waiting for more.
40 seconds. And neither team giving up anything so far.
Snappy's dropping the bomb on the floor deliberately. He must be, because they dropped it twice.
Are they going for a double fake? What are they? Okay, well, I'm going to go just for a single fake here. And this could actually work because there's 3 players still stuck on the B-bomb site. Now rotation comes in, but 2 players here isolated towards the pit position. DD in the high ground. Can he do something with the FAMAS of all weapons? Captain Mo trying to dodge flashes, and he does so. Picks up a double. Now it's DD, but he gets taken out as well. Somebody darting into the bomb site, trying to stop, trying to leap on that bomb, but he can't do it. It's up to Execura and Bentet. 2 versus 3 now to stop this. Victory from OpTic.
Oh, he had him in his sights, and Bentet's exposed now. They can see him, I think, in the corner of that smoke. He's down to 15 HP, 1 versus 3. Surely this is the end. It is the end. That was so close. The bomb planter was in their sights, but OpTic Gaming finally take it over the line. What a massive game of Counter-Strike for both teams. Talk about a war of attrition.
Oh my gosh, that took a while. That was basically another map. So today is the day of overtimes, it would seem. And that was pretty cool to see both teams in that position, because when you're put in that position, it's very different to playing in regulation. You really start to test players' endurance, their grit, their experience. How can they handle the pressure, these situations when consistently it's 1 round that you either have to get, or you lose the match, or you have to get it to just end it, you know? So it's so much pressure all the time.
That was quite something. That was like endurance mode in Mortal Kombat, where the tower is just so huge, you're there forever trying to get through all the people. 50 frags in the end for config. Somebody just 1 behind with 49. There was so much potential just around that double stack as the bomb was getting planted. crazy stuff. I mean, I'd say congratulations to both teams, even though there's a winner and a loser. It just went so far. You learn so much about your opponent through such a long round, constantly adapting, constantly trying to get the one-upmanship. We started to even see T rounds won on overtime. Now it is Freya with OpTic in the gaming room.
Thank you guys. Yes, I have managed to grab the winning side, OpTic, Gade and Config. How are you feeling coming out of that match?
A bit exhausted, but happy.
How did you manage to close it out in that last overtime, Config?
I think we chose to do the right banana take and just get it done.
So did you feel like that was kind of the turning point in the game? You just were there being aggressive, usual Config style?
Yeah, we were just 4 people there all the time and it worked out. So yeah, that was the plan.
So it seemed like you guys kind of struggled a little bit on the T side, as did TyLoo. What did you do going into those overtimes to refocus and close it out?
As Config said, we just talked about how we are supposed to get the banana control, and we did that. And then I think we kind of stressed it out in the second overtime, calling some weird strats, and we messed it up. But yeah, I'm just happy that we won now.
So it seemed like a little bit of a repeat performance of your game yesterday, where your T side just wasn't really up to scratch. Is that something you guys are going to focus on?
Yeah, we're going to focus on our T sides. We have a lot more like confidence in our T sides now already. So I think we just have to practice a little bit more and make it work somehow.
It seemed like TyLoo at points were able to just read your aggression. Do you feel like they kind of managed to dupe you out and kind of play you into their own hands? I
think we chose to do the wrong stats, chose to free call a lot more than we usually do, and that was when the hard power was there because people messed up a few times. And I don't know if they had a read on us or anything, but they played good.
Because they're quite an unpredictable team. Did this affect your mentality at all?
Them stacking and so on?
Yeah, just their sort of unpredictability. They seem to kind of go for things that you may not totally expect.
No, not really. I think we kind of had a good read all the time, but they did a stack on B and we expected them to be 2, but they were 3. So yeah, some things were unexpected, but not that much.
So you guys are now 2-1. How are you feeling going into tomorrow? You're a lot more confident, Gade.
Yeah, we're definitely getting some confidence right now, but just hoping for a good draw and see how it goes.
And any final words from you, Config?
I just want to thank everyone outside the game, watching from Twitch, OpTic fans, Gade fans, my fans, the team fans. We fucking love y'all.
Thank you so much, guys, and congratulations on that win. Alex, what do you make of that back at the desk?
A true marathon of Counter-Strike. We've had our fair share of it today, and indeed, it continues. OpTic and TyLoo. I can't even remember this pistol round, and it was spectacular. You know, that was incredible stuff from Gade. I don't think we shouted loud enough about that just because it was a spectacular clearance in the kill feed from Gade.
Are you not entertained, Inferno? Overtimes, it all happens once again, and this was a match that I don't think TyLoo should have had too much stake in. They took control in the first half with some good trading towards the end of the piece, but look, Somebody and Config, it felt like a back and forth battle between the two of these guys and what impact they could have in rounds. When we made it to overtime, they were still both firing on all cylinders. Smallest margins, lots of mistakes, lots of overpeaks, lots of weird decisions. It was an interesting game of Counter-Strike, but I was definitely enthralled.
I mean, I really enjoyed watching kind of the TyLoo comeback at times. I mean, it looked like OpTic was supposed to be closing it out, and some spectacular play from somebody as well with that CZ to take us even into overtime. Bearing in mind that could have been a 16-14 GG.
Yeah, it could have gone either way for a lot of that. I was looking at somebody's impact. We made it to the first OT, and I was like, well, if they win it here, somebody's had impact in all 3 of these CT rounds, unable to convert from there. And we were talking about this. I thought that, you know, if you were TyLoo and you won 3 rounds in a row on the CT side, when you flip over to the T side, you can take the risk. You can make the big ball call of doing a really aggressive, really fast strat, but it never happened. They stayed with that slow, spread out style, and it was really flat.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little about, just while we're talking about individuals, somebody is one you've listed, but Xcurate, you had an interesting stat for me, Chad. I'd love to hear it again.
Oh, okay.
So this was about his round impact.
If we go back to regulation, he only had 12 orb kills in the first 30 rounds of the game, but then when we flicked into overtime, within those first 3 rounds of overtime, he was able to pick up 4 kills. If you look at the first half as well, he had 6 kills, 4 of which were for the AWP, and 3 of those 6 kills came in the last round. So
his second half was spectacular.
Blistering.
Yeah, didn't quite get them over the line. And TyLoo, I mean, good God, these guys, hang on, I'm just going to read their results to you one more time. So this is TyLoo's run so far here at the FACEIT Major. They had a game versus Gambit. Gambit, of course, winning the Krakow Major, but they had roster changes since then. 19-17 OT. They had to work so damn hard to get that first win on the board to even get them into this match versus OpTic. NIP 16-12, and on Train, a map we rarely see TyLoo on. They managed to push the Ninjas and couldn't quite convert. Now they go up against OpTic, and we go all the way, what was it 28-26 at the end of that one?
Something along those lines, Alex. I think, and I must feel with them, they must be super, super gutted about not being able to convert one of these two OTs into a win. I will say, as you said, OpTic were the favorites throughout that game. They had a really good start, up 8-1. It felt like they were in control, basically.
Yep.
But then TyLoo started this madness. It was so much somebody, so much accurate, pretty much everyone on that team doing a lot of individual play and doing a lot of like chaotic stuff. So that even when I was behind OpTic and listening to the communications, there were times where they were just saying to each other, I don't know what happened. Like, focus, 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 because it was so chaotic and so stressful for both teams.
Right.
And that's what TyLoo does to teams. They make it stressful for their opponents.
Yeah, and you could see the exhaustion on the guys over at OpTic. They're the ones that won it. Never mind the team that worked so hard and couldn't quite get that nice boost of adrenaline when you get that big W in the category. Let's bring up the head-to-head. It's brought to you by The Predator, a movie that's in theaters September 14th. And Bentet Snappy. Now,
Look, Bentet was quiet. He's going to be disappointed in the way that kind of unfolded, and I think that's probably with how much struggles they had on that T side just to even find any impact. When you're an in-game leader and you're calling from that position and your back's against the rope and nothing's working, it becomes very difficult, and you start to just focus a lot on solving the puzzle as opposed to your crosshair. So he didn't have a fantastic game. Snappy started to come alive with the AWP over towards Banana within the overtimes and had a lot more impact there. And eventually they cracked the code by getting more of those T rounds. That was the real winning, I guess, the catalyst for the win.
It did feel like OpTic were kind of talking as if they found confidence by the end of that game. Like, they were talking about their T side and saying we found some confidence now. But I mean, their T side initially, 5 rounds is all they could muster versus TyLoo's defense, and their defense did have its flaws too. I mean, it wasn't a guarantee.
It wasn't a guarantee at all, and I do feel that both teams, were in the position where it could have gone both ways. I mean, when you're in a quadruple overtime and you run your head towards a brick enough times, it's becoming more of like a brawl fight, a fist fight, where it comes down to who gets the lucky one peak and who gets to win the lucky clutch in that scenario. So it couldn't really become any more close. And that's, we may hate it sometimes. Inferno is a map that is being played all the time in best of 1, but it also does give us a lot of good matches.
It certainly does. Now, you referred to that confusion, the fact that actually Jacob could hear OpTic being confused. Well, you've titled this demo Confusion. Why don't you explain what you're showing us?
So this was a T-side round in the first half from TyLoo, so you're going to have to think back to yesterday, basically. Yeah. But it was a round that it just seemed very confusing from my perspective. You're going to see a Molotov land on pit. That was actually a team flash that DD hit on somebody. Gade's going to try and put this out, thinks it's out, jumps back into the Molotov.
Oh,
he dies. At this point, somebody who jumped out halls, went quad, and is now coming to arch side is going to get a kill. So he's jumped out to sell a fake, but nobody even saw him there. And now they've hit the B bomb site. So I don't think TyLoo even knew what was going on in this round, but they're able to pick up the victory. The whole scenario confused me, because when you see a player burn from 100 HP to 0 and you don't actually get to see it happen in front of you, it's like, what's going on here?
So he's put it out.
Hasn't gone out completely.
Hasn't taken out the whole molly.
Stepped back into it, died. Somebody who jumped, let's just talk about this. He's jumped out of apps and circle jumped to quad side. So he's trying to sell a fake here.
Yeah, yeah.
No one's seen him.
Because Gade's busy looking at the floor.
And he's also been team flashed. So now he's pushed around and then he's gone from halls to quad to mid wall to arch.
That's great, right?
What?
Exactly.
Halls to quad.
To mid wall.
To mid wall, yeah.
And then now he's picked a guy on arch.
And he's gone arch. And you're just sitting there on arch like, dude, what?
Yeah.
How? When?
Yes.
Why?
It didn't make any sense.
Fantastic.
But it worked. It was a round.
Yeah, whatever. It works.
It's like it has the pros and cons, right? Because it's a quality, obviously, to have the ability to be so confusing
Sure.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But the problem, as we stated a few times, it's not good if you don't know what's happening yourself. It's good if it's controlled confusion or controlled chaos. But for that matter, it's just TyLoo being TyLoo again. I was also standing behind them and listening into their communication. And it felt like, as we have been speaking about, they speak 3 different languages. There's a few different guys who speak to each other internally. And then they try to translate it in the middle with Bentet and with Excurate. And then it goes over to the right side guys, so it's just it's a mess.
The funniest one of that is, just for everybody at home, we're sitting here while these overtimes are going on. There was a round where Excurate's on the B bomb side with AWP, and he sees them coming out banana. Now, he's yelling, help. He's yelling, help.
I love that you're not lying. That is the reality. We're here at the challenger stage of the major, and at one point, they are pushing you on B. I mean, to be fair, it's coming from Excurate.
Sure.
And he's on B.
Yeah.
So help pretty much covers it,
That
right?
does cover it, but it's just so funny that that's the word coming out of it. It's just like, what's going on?
It wasn't quite as horror movie-esque as that, but yes.
Close.
It did. And he did look like he was being chased down. He still managed to win the round and hit his shots in the end. But TyLoo do not quite cross the line. OpTic do, though, and that's going to be big for them, as you can see the scores on the doors. 2 more games to go as we are closing in on the 9 p.m. in the evening. evening, so your evening entertainment is sorted for you North Virtus Pro Renegades and Space Soldier fans. That's what we've got coming up next. We're going to be seeing how that goes. Those two games do play out. But first, a quick reminder from one of our sponsors. I want to talk to you. Hi, Epics.gg. If you want to collect, trade, and share your favorite CSGO stars, you can, and you can get it on your phone on iTunes or Google Play. One of the sponsors here for the Challenger stage of the FACEIT Major, and we continue the action after our break. We've just witnessed a whole lot of rounds. Over 50 rounds of Counter-Strike for a best of one concludes with OpTic taking the lead, and they'll be getting themselves 2 wins now, 1 away from getting to the next stage. Renegades Space Soldiers coming up after the break.